This video continues with Chapter 20 becoming the front page again. Please vote for Flower Evaluation, One Piece, the God-level wealth system and the rise of Akatsuki. Chapter 20 becoming the front page again. Please vote for Flower Evaluation. Zephyr proposed an alliance, but Tong refused outright. Codename Zero said calmly, "The Master said that the Akatsuki organization does not need to alliance with external forces." Zephyr felt unhappy when he saw that the other party refused so decisively without even thinking about it. But now he is completely disappointed with Marine. He hates pirates but doesn't have enough strength to change anything. He needs power, a strong and independent force, and isn't this what he needs right in front of him? Zephyr's eyes were non-committal under his sunglasses. He snorted coldly and said in a bad tone, "I will ask someone to bring the remaining bounty to you now." After saying that, he turned around and left. After walking a certain distance, Zephyr paused and said proudly with a high voice, "Your Akatsuki organization is really ungrateful. Although your members are powerful, what does that mean? Insufficient troops are still not enough in this era. Too many ants will kill the elephant. I believe you will understand this truth." Huh. There was a chuckle, whether it was ridicule or something else. Zephyr did not give Zio a chance to speak and continued, "Look at how weak your Akatsuki organization is. You can't survive in this era. Even if you are weak, you are still so high profile. You don't even know how you died." "I'm Zephyr, that's not right." Commander Z of the new Marines sees you as pitiful, so he reluctantly becomes the external force of the Akatsuki organization. From today on, the new Marines no longer exist and the external forces of the Akatsuki organization are established. After saying that, Zephyr turned around, straightened his chest and said, "Remember, I built the exterior of Akatsuki out of pity for you." Zio. Everyone looked at Zephyr with speechless expressions. After talking so much, what did Haki think he was going to do? "If you want to join Zio, just say so. Are you so desperate to save face?" Zephyr looked at the Akatsuki members looking at him. Although they were wearing masks, they still felt that their gazes were a bit strange. He said with an evil look, "What are you looking at? Don't think too much about it, I sympathize with you." After saying that, he waved his hand, turned around and strode away. In the world of pirates, no matter what the news is, it is basically impossible to hide it from Morgans. This time Akatsuki has just ended. The front page of the newspaper was once again occupied by the affairs of the Zio organization. There are actually 50 members of the Akatsuki organization, and they are all ability users. The Akatsuki organization strikes again to eliminate the second Whitebeard, Edward Weibel. Soon, the newspaper was spread everywhere. Everyone exclaimed again, "Come and see." This time the news about Akatsuki dominates the front page. "Hey, what's the news? Should I go? There are actually 50 members in Akatsuki. Didn't I say there were only 10 before? Who knows, and is that all the 50 people who have appeared now? There may be more. That's right. Maybe hundreds or even thousands. If all of them are ability users, hiss. It's so scary. I'm afraid that just one organization can compete with Marine or any of the Sea Emperors, right? If there are really thousands, I'm afraid it would be a little overwhelming for a single force. This time, all the major forces in the world are probably going to explode internally. Just like what ordinary people said, as soon as the news came out, Marine started a meeting. The top combat forces were sitting around the conference table, and on the table was today's newspaper. Sengoku rubbed his forehead and said with a headache, "I believe you have read the newspaper this time. The Akatsuki organization went out again and directly sent 50 people. You also know how powerful the Edward Weibel created by Bajin's ability is." Kizaru crossed his legs and grinned. "Oh. It's really scary. Whitebeard Roman too has the power of Whitebeard when he was young. It's very difficult for Marine not to use Admiral. The Akatsuki organization was really generous. They directly sent 50 ability users to directly kill Edward Weibel and Bajin." Sengoku rubbed his forehead again. "That's the problem. Every time Akatsuki is exposed, his strength becomes stronger than before. It's really a headache. While everyone was discussing, someone suddenly came to report. The former Marine Admiral Zephyr announced to the outside world that the new Marine will be renamed Akatsuki External Organization. As soon as these words came out, everyone present changed their expressions. Akainu slapped the table angrily. What is Zephyr doing? He is so shameless to join Zio's command. Sengoku said nothing, his eyes were deep. Zephyr joining the Akatsuki organization was really beyond his expectation. You know how arrogant is Zephyr that he is willing to become a vassal of the killer organization? Akiji said calmly, I didn't expect that the teacher would eventually embark on this path. What is the charm of the Akatsuki organization to attract the teacher? Kizaru grinned, oh, it's really scary. Teacher is already powerful, but now that he joins the Akatsuki organization, wouldn't it be even more powerful? More than that, Zephyr is the former Marine Admiral. He knows a lot of Marine's internal secrets. If he joins the Akatsuki organization, I'm afraid it will be very detrimental to our Marine. Akainu continued angrily, I recommend arresting Zephyr before causing substantial damage to Marine. Marshal. Akainu looked at Sengoku. I think we should launch a buster call on Zephyr. As soon as these words came out, everyone present fell silent. Buster call. This is one of Marine's most terrifying commands. Sengoku was silent for a while, then slowly spoke. Marine is now in the real recovery stage, and must first maintain Summit War's vitality. Zephyr has also resigned for many years, and he doesn't know much about Marine's internal affairs now, so there is no need to stir up trouble like this. Let's wait until the world recruits troops and then talk about it. On the side, the veteran he suggested, I don't think there is any need to offend Zio. Although it was announced at the time that it could even kill celestial dragons, it didn't mean it had yet to take action against celestial dragons. There is still room for maneuver. Rather than contending with such a force, it is better to recruit them and make them Shichibukai. I thought they might agree. This proposal silenced the conference room again. Zio, with such a powerful organization, do we still need to be afraid of Marine? No one knows. On a small island somewhere in the New World, the Blackbeard Pirates were feasting on delicious food. Recently, devil fruit has collected a lot. At that time, our pirate group will form a huge force of ability users, and the next pirate king will be me, Blackbeard, ha 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 ha. As he said that, Blackbeard stuffed the meat into his mouth and picked up the newspaper, and then he choked. Regardless of coughing, his eyes widened. What? Akatsuki organization has 50 members and ability users. How can this be? On the side, Burgess spit out the wine in his mouth when he heard this, and said contemptuously, Captain, are you drunk? They just wanted to form an Esper pirate group. So they naturally knew how difficult it would be. After confirming that it was the truth, everyone was speechless and looked at each other. The Whitebeard Pirates are currently sailing towards the Sphinx. Marco sat on the bow of the boat, holding the newspaper in his hand, staring at the Akatsuki organization, waiting for Dad to return to his hometown to recuperate. You can contact the Zio organization by yourself, and Dad won't know. On the other side, in the palace, Doflamingo crossed his legs. It's Akatsuki again, this organization that suddenly appeared and is so active now. 50 ability user members. Hee hee, we'll find out if we still have any strength left by testing it out. Doflamingo had a smirk on his face. First hire the Dawn organization to kill Jack, one of the 3 disasters. Wouldn't it be fun? Felu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 21 Terrifying Improvement, Admiral Strength. Please vote for Flower Evaluation. In the submarine, Tong was lying on the bed and reading the newspaper. A smile couldn't help but appear on his face. The strength shown by the Akatsuki organization this time, coupled with Zephyr's announcement that it will become an external force of the Akatsuki organization, I'm afraid that this time the eyes of all major forces will focus on the Akatsuki organization. This is a great thing for the Akatsuki organization. In this way, people will always think of Akatsuki and the existence of such a killer organization. It's hard to leave such a mark on others' minds even if there aren't many hiring tasks. Tong was in a happy mood and threw the newspaper aside. He looked at the system and saw that Zephyr's 500 million employment amount had been received, and an additional 100 million billy was given to express his sincerity. However, the system has not converted it into wealth value and can only be used as funds for the organization. Tong stopped thinking about it and couldn't wait to get ready to draw a wave of rewards. Soon, the carousel appeared. Tong said quickly, "Lottery. Stop." Then there is a prompt sound from the system. Ding. Obtain the wireless transmission skill. You can transmit to people who are loyal to you or accept inanimate substances. Tong's eyes lit up. This is good. In this way, if you want to send something directly to other branches of the Akatsuki organization, you don't have to go to the trouble of sending someone there. You can just use this skill. Tong continues to draw. Ding. Get a fully automated submarine, a vast space, powerful firepower, and can absorb solar energy as kinetic energy. Can be extracted at any time. Tong looked at the prompt and realized that this could also be used to organize other branches of Zio. You must know that the power engines of these submarines are very powerful and can sail at extremely fast speeds on the seabed. In this way, the efficiency of assembly and mission will be greatly enhanced. And the key point is that the firepower is so fierce that one shell can directly take them away. A large ship. The turntable keeps turning. Ding. Obtain perfect level Conqueror's Haki. Tong was stunned. Perfect level. This was the first time he saw it, and the definition was not clear. Tong asked in his mind, "System, what is the concept of perfect level armament Haki?" Soon the voice of the system sounded in my mind. Haki in one piece can be divided into ordinary, that is, unmarked, intermediate, advanced, special, perfect, God, and holy. Shanks Conqueror's Haki is in the special level. Does this mean my Conqueror's Haki is now stronger than Shanks's? Tong thought about it and stood up from the bed the next moment. He wants to try out the effect of Conqueror's Haki, which is stronger than Shanks. Tong's eyes condensed, and a breath of air suddenly spread out. This is the posture of an absolute king. This time it is no longer as weak as before. He can feel the surrounding material begin to tremble slightly, as if he is afraid that it may be broken at any time. Tong hurriedly recovered Conqueror's Haki. It would be bad if the submarine was damaged. This is too powerful. Tong felt that if there were 100,000 soldiers standing in front of him now, and one of him used Conqueror's Haki, they would all fall down, and ordinary people would even die directly. It seems that sending out so many members this time is well worth it. Licking his lips, Tong looked at the plate and continued to draw the lottery. After 10 draws, Tong also won the Sword of the Heavens. This is an existence comparable to any sword in the world of pirates, combined with the 50 years of swordsmanship gained previously. Tong is now considered one of the best in the pirate world. Finally, there is Logia Wind Fruit, and Tong has also become a Logia ability user. Tong closed the lottery page. With the remaining 400 million, he did not plan to continue the lottery and planned to consolidate his own foundation first. That is, his physical body. Only by solidifying the foundation can we build various things on top without collapsing. Now his physique is intermediate and upper-level physical enhancement, which is equivalent to the physique of Vice Admiral or above. This is still far from enough in one piece. Tong began to upgrade. Ding! Do you want to spend 1 million to upgrade intermediate and upper-level physical enhancement to quasi-advanced physical enhancement? Tong agreed immediately without any hesitation. 1,000 W is too cheap, right? directly increase the strength of his physical body to a new level. Ding! Upgrade completed. Wealth value remains at 390 million points. A stream of heat slowly merges into the body and flows throughout the body. Tong can clearly feel that his strength and physical fitness are stronger than before. With one punch, the void vibrated directly. This made Tong's eyes light up. Now against Admiral, you can also get through a few moves. Tong checked how much it would take to upgrade Quasi-Advanced Physical Enhancement to Advanced Physical Enhancement. After seeing 100 million, Tong decisively chose to upgrade again. Ding! Upgrade completed. The remaining wealth value is 290 million. Tong's physical body has become extremely powerful again, and his physique has reached advanced physical strengthening. Now he can directly fight Marine Admiral physically. Tong is still satisfied and wants to continue to upgrade. But this time, it would cost 1 billion to upgrade to advanced physical enhancement, so Tong had no choice but to give up and look at other abilities. According to the system's display, Tong currently only has a simple 10% contribution to the development of wind fruit. That is to simply turn the body into the wind, which is the most basic use of Logia's ability. Anyone who has watched One Piece knows that as the fruit is developed, the abilities that can be used will become more powerful, and the fruit can also be awakened. For example, Doflamingo, his string fruit has been developed to the point of awakening. I don't know what it's like for Logia to awaken. Tong decided to give it a try. By developing and improving the fruits, your own strength will also increase a lot. Maybe in the future, I can destroy the 4 emperors by myself. Tong touched his nose and felt that this goal seemed not difficult to achieve. After a while, he looked at the system and started upgrading the fruit's abilities. Ding! Do you want to spend 10 million to improve development by 10%? Yes. Tong didn't hesitate at all. Spend all the remaining 100 million Baileys on the development of the wind fruit ability. In the end, the wind fruit ability was developed to 100% and was awakened directly. Then Tong was surprised to find that after reaching 100%, it can still be improved, but the cost is a bit high. An increase of 10% requires 50 million points. Tong thought for a while and increased it by 30% again, reaching 130% development. Immediately, Tong started trying. He discovered that the ability was no longer simply to elementalize the body, but to be able to sense changes in the wind direction in nature and to infer weather changes. Moreover, Tong discovered that he could control the sky as long as he wanted to, and could generate a tornado at any time. This harvest directly boosted Tong's strength to the point where it can compete with Admiral. Feilu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 22, Enlightenment of Kendo in 1050. Please vote for flower evaluation. Today, Tong's wealth value is still 40 million points. The remaining 40 million can be used to upgrade other Haki, but Tong thought about it and realized that all the members of the Xiao organization are very powerful at present, so there is no need for him to take action yet. In addition, 40 million points of wealth can only upgrade other Haki, that is, the sight color, the weapon color, and the emission, from ordinary to intermediate, which is really not necessary. So Tong plans to use the remaining 40 million points in the lottery. Maybe with luck he can draw the perfect level again? With anticipation on his face, Tong rubbed his hands and started to continue the lottery. Soon, the plate appeared after Tong said stop. The system's voice sounded, ding. Obtain 1,000 years of Kendo Enlightenment. I go. Before Tong could even utter a word of surprise, a stream of secrets, insights about swordsmanship slowly came into his mind. Suddenly, Tong's pupils dilated, and in his eyes, countless sword skills were being practiced. Just like watching a movie, Tong's understanding of Kendo becomes stronger the more he watches it. I don't know how long it took before Tong digested everything. I saw, when I raised my eyes, with just a slight glance, a burst of sword energy shot out, with murderous intent. Tong felt that even if Hawkeye stood in front of him now, he would probably be shocked. Practicing swordsmanship at the same time can also lead to the true integration of man and sword. Thousands of years of swordsmanship plus the previous 50 years, that is, 1,050 years of knowledge of swordsmanship, if combined with the divine weapon Sword of the Sky, he is now the well-deserved #1 swordsman in the pirate world. Tong licked his lips, a little excited. He really wanted to see how powerful he was now. After all, I'm not trying now, it's all just my own feelings. Why don't you find a place to try it out? After thinking about it, I have been staying in the submarine all the time recently and haven't gone out to stretch my muscles. He is almost becoming the ultimate otaku in the One Piece world. This time, when I go out to practice, I can also take a breath of fresh air. Thinking of this, Tong ordered the men responsible for driving the submarine to find an uninhabited island. Another advantage of the submarine sent by the system is that in this new world with a messy magnetic field, the submarine can still navigate clearly. All new world landmarks and submarines are recorded. This is why Tong can walk freely in the new world. After giving the order, Tong broke through Conqueror's Haki with the remaining 3000 W, upgraded them all to intermediate level, and lay on the bed to rest. I don't know how long it took, but Tong was woken up by the code name 0. Master, we have arrived at an island. According to the submarine's radar, the only trace of human habitation on the island is an ancient palace in the center of the island. But the palace looks very old and no one seems to be living on it. Tong nodded. This is it. Soon, Tong put on the black robe of the Dawn organization, put on a white faceless mask that represented nothing, and left the submarine. Under the night, Tong walked slowly on the shore. Code number 0 follows closely behind. Not far from the palace in the center of the island, a man with green hair on his head, even though his whole body was bandaged, was fighting a group of monkeys. Although there is a group of monkeys in front of them, they are wearing armor, holding weapons, and their fighting power is very fierce. Perona was floating in the air, watching from the side, and said with disdain, "It's really not cute at all. I don't know what men are thinking about all day long. They only know how to fight." Zoro ignored her at all. A few days ago, Luffy informed everyone that he will be gathering with Rayleigh in 2 years to become stronger. Luffy is getting stronger, but how could he not work hard to become stronger? I want to become the best swordsman in the world. Thinking of this, Zoro's eyes flashed sharply, and he stared at the group of monkeys in front of him with a cold light. The momentum in his body skyrocketed. Those monkeys who were originally triumphant were stunned. Have they become stronger? But he was just surprised for a moment and then continued to ridicule. Zoro was imposing, holding the swords in his hands and the sword in his mouth tightly. The next moment, Gideon Jianbu rushed towards a group of monkeys. The group of monkeys laughed and showed no fear. After a while of fighting, Zoro's jaw cracked and he fell to the ground again. Perona in the air said impatiently, "I'm really fed up. The wound has been bandaged well, but the wound has opened again. I really won't help you this time." He snorted coldly and turned his head away. At this time, Hawkeye walked over with a stern face. He crossed his hands on his chest and carried a black sword on his back, Knight Hakimi. He looked at Zoro, who fell on the ground with his sharp eyes, and said calmly, "Although it is still extremely miserable, it can be considered an improvement compared to before." Zoro gritted his teeth and persisted even though he was bleeding profusely. "It's not over yet. I can still fight." Perona is speechless. "Are you still getting up at this time? Shouldn't it be healed quickly?" Sure enough, men are all so unlovable. Hawkeye's expression was still stern, and he said in a deep voice, "In swordsmanship, if you don't want to be wary and show off your strength, If you hurt your roots, how can you become stronger in the future? Perona, take him to heal. After saying that, he turned around and left. What? Perona was dissatisfied. Why should I help him heal his injuries? I bandaged him before. This guy doesn't appreciate it at all. I don't want it. Seeing that both of them ignored her, Perona was so angry that she stamped her feet, but they were in the air and could not reach the ground. At this moment, on the shore of the island, a powerful momentum suddenly surged. It is the aura of an absolute strong man, superior to all things in the world. The trees swayed, and even these non-living things seemed to be bowing down. This momentum quickly swept across. Hawkeye was startled. Perona's beautiful eyes widened in disbelief. The inexplicable fear in her heart reached the extreme, and she was depressed to the extreme. An ancient giant seemed to appear in front of her eyes. The giant stretched out its big hand and suppressed her breath. Her whole body went limp and she fell from the air. Only her breath had arrived, but her real momentum had not yet arrived. If you can create such a feeling for yourself, will you die if you are hit by the oncoming momentum? The same was true for Zoro and a group of monkeys who felt instantly overwhelmed. What is this? Zoro gritted his teeth and looked at the raging storm that was about to sweep over him. Hawkeye moved quickly and pulled out the black knifey from his back. Immediately, he charged up his strength with both hands and struck out with a slash. Black Sword Knight sent out a huge green sword energy, cutting through the ground, directly hitting the incoming momentum and canceling it out. Perona lay weakly on the ground, sweat covering her body. The monkeys were so frightened that they all lay on the ground holding their heads, shivering. Zoro gritted his teeth and said with difficulty, "What was that just now?" Perona swallowed her saliva and stuttered a little. It's really terrible. When the breath escaped just now, I just felt like I was an ant." Hawkeye's expression changed, and he said in a low voice, "That's Conqueror's Haki Feilu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 23 Sword Duel with a Swordsman. Please vote for Flower Evaluation." Perona sluggish again. Conqueror's Haki? Of course she had heard of it. Is the legendary Conqueror's Haki one of a kind, so powerful? No. Hawkeye objected, his eyes solemn. The strongest Conqueror's Haki he has ever seen is Shanks, but this Haki is probably a level stronger than Shanks. No. What do you mean? Perona asked again. But Hawkeye ignored her. He originally wanted to go back to the castle, but at this time he changed his voice again and headed towards the distant coast. Perona asked in surprise, "Where are you going?" Hawkeye didn't answer and left directly. Perona stamped her feet in anger again. She didn't care. These men were really cold as hell and not lovable at all. At this time, Zoro, who was lying on the ground, also forced himself to stand up. Using the knife in his hand as a crutch, he limped in the direction Hawkeye left. "What are you doing? You want to go there too? How can you get there without your body?" Perona said depressedly. "The aura just now was so strong, I need to go over and see who it is." After finishing speaking, Zoro fell to the ground after taking a few steps. "Hey!" Perona exclaimed, trying to stop her. But Zoro didn't care and got up on the coast. Tong looked behind him. The nearby forest, which was originally lush and leafy, was now bald, with every leaf falling off and many fragile branches broken to the ground. "I'll go." Tong looked at everything in front of him with some disbelief, like a strong wind passing by. This perfect level Conqueror's Haki is really powerful. Tong was overjoyed. This skill, which is known as the cleaner of miscellaneous soldiers, would be different for him. It is estimated that even the General Vice Admiral cannot stand the pressure that Haki bursts out, right? Ha ha. In this world now, whose Haki can compete with mine? Just as he was thinking to himself, this was when Tong felt someone coming. Code Zero also felt the same, and he stepped forward and stood in front of Tong. Although Yi Tong is now powerful, as a subordinate he should still protect his master. I saw, from the shadow of the woods, a tall man walking out with a big knife in his hand. When the moonlight shone on the man's cheek, Yi Tong recognized it. Hawkeye? Why is he here? Thinking of the plot of One Piece, Hawkeye lives alone in a palace on an isolated island. Could it be said that this island is the residence of Hawkeye? I saw that Hawkeye had been holding the black knife tightly in his hand, looking at Yi Tong and the two. When he saw the black robes and masks on the two people, the eagle's eyes froze. Sayo, someone from the organization? Why are you on my island? Hawkeye's eyes became more solemn, and his grip on the knife became a little tighter. You know, the newspapers just reported news about the Zio organization today. The two sides looked at each other for a long time without saying a word. Hawkeye said calmly, "The Akatsuki organization is here. Does that mean someone hired you to kill me?" The code number 0 in front did not say anything, because now that the Master Yi Tong is here, he naturally has no right to speak first before the Master. Yi Tong took a step forward and said calmly, "That's not true. It was just an accident. We didn't expect that this is the territory of your great swordsman." After hearing this, although Hawkeye's expression did not change, his originally tense nerves relaxed a lot. After all, the Akatsuki organization is now very famous. It's okay for just one person, but the Akatsuki organization is extremely powerful. If it is besieged by 50 people with abilities, I'm afraid besides, these 50 people may not be the full strength of the Akatsuki organization. Also, what happened to Conqueror's Haki just now? Only then did he realize that the mask on Yi Tong's face was different. The previous reports were all black smiling masks, but this one was a white faceless mask. Could it be that? Hawkeye's eyes are ever-changing, the legendary nothing. There was a wave of excitement in my heart. However, his appearance did not show it, and he asked, "May I ask your excellency, are you empty?" Yi Tong nodded and said simply, "That's right." Hawkeye didn't expect that the other party would admit it so straightforwardly, considering that he was a Shichibukai, strictly speaking, a member of Marine's force. He said, "I'm Shichibukai, are you not afraid of me contacting Marine?" In other words, Akatsuki is not afraid of Marine at all. Yi Tong chuckled non-committally. I believe that the recognized number 1 swordsman would not do such a thing, nor would he bother to do such a thing, of course. If you really want to do it, you won't have a chance. When Hawkeye heard this, he smiled slightly. It seems that the Akatsuki organization is indeed more than just the strength that was exposed. Yi Tong shrugged. Who knows? Not caring about Yi Tong's disengagement, Hawkeye asked, "Did you release the Conqueror's Haki just now?" "What do you think?" Yi Tong asked playfully. Hawkeye raised his eyebrows slightly, and it seemed that it was indeed released by empty, and he had this answer. Hawkeye looked at Yi Tong with even more twinkling eyes. How strong is this guy? Someone who can control so many ability users, and among them there are those with admiral strength. When Hawkeye thought of this, a thought came to his mind. With such an existence, what is the gap between him and me? Hawkeye himself is also a strong man, and a strong man naturally has the arrogance of a strong man. He wanted to try out the strength of this recently popular figure. Just listening, Eagle Eye said, "I would like to ask, can you have a discussion with me?" Yi Tong was stunned when he heard this. He didn't expect Hawkeye to say such words. Discuss? Why do we want to discuss things? Seeing Yi Tong didn't answer, Eagle Eye continued, "Although I don't want to say it, your Haki just now shocked me. I guess Shanks feels ashamed here. I'm wondering what the gap between you and me is. Of course, I don't mean to find out. Naturally, I won't tell anyone about your appearance here. I just want to compete with the strong. In this way, my sword will be stronger and farther." Yi Tong saw that he spoke frankly, but also felt good about him. In fact, most sea fans don't dislike the character of Hawkeye. After thinking about the 1,000-year swordsmanship he had just gained, he became interested. "By the way, what is my current swordsmanship strength?" Yi Tong is a little curious. Can he meet Eagle Eye? It's probably possible. It's just a matter of defeating him with a few moves. Tong nodded and said, "Since you said so, let's do it. You use a knife, and I also use it. This time we will use the knife to decide the outcome." Hawkeye looked at Tong in disbelief. His confident tone didn't sound like he was joking with him. "Fight with yourself with a knife? You know that I am a great swordsman, but Song is so confident to fight with me." At this moment, Hawkeye had mixed feelings in his heart. Could it be that Kong is also a master of swordsmanship? Felu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 24. The world's best swordsman is replaced. Please vote for flower evaluation. However, when it comes to swordsmanship, the eagle's eye is not empty. He has absolute confidence as a great swordsman. Hawkeye said softly, "Song, although the Conqueror's Haki you just did surprised me, I'm afraid it would be a bit too bullying for you to compete with me with a sword." Tong was indifferent and said with a smile, "It's okay. Just use your full strength." Could it be that Wu, the leader of Zio's organization, is really a master of swordsmanship? Stop thinking, since the other person is so confident, let's do it. Hawkeye swung the black sword Yoruichi in his hand, and his aura suddenly changed. The sword is ruthless. It would be disrespectful to be empty. Tong didn't talk nonsense and said with a smile, "Of course. Please also ask the first swordsman Eagle Eye not to show mercy." With that said, Sword of All Heavens was taken out from the system. This is the first time that the Heavenly Sword has been released. I saw that the All-Heaven Sword was emitting golden light, extremely dazzling, and its momentum was extremely fierce. Hawkeye's eyes moved. As a swordsman, he naturally knew the sword well. The moment the Jushin sword came out, he knew it was a peerless sword. It is probably more powerful than his most powerful black sword, but not inferior to it. What kind of sword is this? So powerful. Suddenly, Eagle Eye's expression suddenly changed again. For the first time, a look of horror appeared on his face. The strongest black sword in his hand actually made a sword sound at night. As the master of the sword, he could understand what this meant. His own black sword, Yi, was actually worshipping the sword in his hand. Who is the leader of this Akatsuki organization? What's the sword in your hand? Even the most powerful black sword is convinced by it. Hawkeye, why are you in a daze? I'm here. Tong smiled and said that this was his first time playing against someone and he was extremely excited. Now he has superior physique and powerful, and his speed is naturally very fast. If the wind and wind fruit ability is developed to 130% through coordination, it will be faster. However, this is a sparring sword, so Tong did not use it. But just in terms of physical body, the speed is enough to shock Hawkeye. Hawkeye had no time to think about what happened to the sword in Tong's hand. The moment Tong set off, he already felt the pressure. The speed was so fast that he moved his eyes left and right to capture Tong's position. At this, Hawkeye shouted and waved the knight in his hand to the left. The sword light flashed, forming a substantial sword energy and shooting away. Tong used both feet to exert force and jumped directly into the air. Dodged the knife. The sword energy went backwards, spreading continuously, and finally struck the woods behind. Boom! In an instant, a whole forest fell to the ground. As Tong jumped into the air, the golden light of the heavenly sword in his hand suddenly shot out. This golden light is like a bright sun in this night! Exclamation! Hawkeye's pupils shrank hugely, and a strong thought arose in his mind. He couldn't block this sword. The momentum of this sword intention was so powerful that his whole knight began to wail as if he was crying, telling Hawkeye not to use it to block the blow, otherwise it would perish. How can this be? In the woods, Perona grabbed Zoro and flew in the air, complaining constantly. When we came out of the forest, we saw a shocking scene. Zoro's eyes widened. Who was Hawkeye fighting? It looks like it's a sword duel, but the point is that Hawkeye actually came up short. The greatest swordsman of the modern era has actually fallen behind. Who is the person fighting against? Swordsmanship is so terrifying ahead. Hawkeye really didn't want to dodge. This move showed that he was already timid. But he had to hide. He gritted his teeth and stood up suddenly. His figure quickly jumped to the side, barely dodging Yi Tong's sword. I saw Yi Tong slashing down with a heavenly sword in his hand. Suddenly, the golden sword energy was like a giant axe, cutting the ground directly. Rumble, the golden sword energy couldn't stop at all and kept moving forward. In the woods, Perona was startled. Wow, it's coming towards us. Zoro ignored his injuries and cursed. You knew it was coming towards us. Why didn't you run away quickly and wait for death? Only then did Perona react and quickly dodge. Haha. The fierce sword energy passed by instantly, and the air wave directly knocked the two of them to the ground. Perona said wow, her butt fell to the ground and she screamed in pain. Zoro was even worse. He was already injured, but he hadn't fallen like this. Fortunately, he was lucky, so he didn't die. After the two of them calmed down, they looked at the place where the sword energy had just passed. The two were shocked and speechless. Then he quickly looked into the distance. I saw that from the position where Yi Tong just fell to the end of the island, a fan-shaped crack appeared directly. The depth was unknown. Sea water keeps pouring in. Perona watched the scene with lingering fear. Isn't this too scary? I almost died. Zoro swallowed, his pupils trembling as he looked at Hawkeye and Wu not far away. Hawkeye was speechless. After a while, he breathed out and said, I lost. Zoro is shocked again. What did Hawkeye just say? He lost. Hawkeye, who has always been so cold and arrogant, actually said this. I lost. Who is this person? What he saw just now was that both sides in this battle used swords, which meant that the man said he defeated Hawkeye with a sword. Perona was also surprised. After hearing Hawkeye admit defeat, she looked at Yi Tong in surprise. Then he exclaimed, this black robe, this mask, isn't this Sao? Could it be that he was hired to kill Hawkeye? Ahead, Yi Tong chuckled. Looking ugly. Hawkeye shook his head helplessly. If this swordsmanship is still embarrassing, then who am I? Am I rubbish? Yi Tong shrugged and did not answer. But Hawkeye's eyes became sharp. You let me know that there is a more powerful level in swordsmanship. I will work hard to continuously break through myself, and then challenge you again. Of course. You are always welcome. Yi Tong smiled. Seeing Yi Tong talkative, Eagle Eye also smiled slightly. Without saying anything else, he looked at the crack. The crack that split the entire island in half was not just as simple as the surface. Instead, the crack reaches 1 kilometer underground. If I just wanted to take this blow, Hawkeye closed his eyes. He was a man who would not show anything on his face. He could only shake his head, not daring to think about it. Nothing thinking in his mind, he turned to look at Yi Tong. He is indeed a master of swordsmanship. It seems that the world's #1 swordsman has been replaced. But what Hawkeye doesn't know is that Yi Tong is not only a master of swordsmanship, but also has very powerful abilities and physical skills. At this moment, code number 0 came slowly. He leaned close to Yi Tong's ear and said, the Xiao organization has another big mission. Yi Tong nodded, then looked at Hawkeye. I'll leave first if I have something else to do here. Hawkeye was not a man of many words, so he nodded. Yi Tong, code 0, turned around and left. At this time, Perona from behind said in surprise, so you're not here to kill Hawkeye? Then something suddenly occurred to me, right. I also want to hire the Xiao organization. Thinking of this, Perona flew up and flew towards Yi Tong. Hey, wait, I have a job to hire. Feilu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 25, booking a wealth value of 1.2 billion. Please vote for flower evaluation. Tong and Code Zero had only walked a few steps when they heard someone calling them from behind. Tong didn't notice that there was anyone else on the island just now. He glanced back and couldn't help but feel happy. Isn't this one of the representative figures who made a big comeback in appearance 2 years later, the arrogant and bad-tempered little underdog ghost Princess Perona? Because of her duplicitous character, venomous words but warm heart, she even saved Zoro on the island, so she is quite popular among many sea fans. But Tong thought happily in his heart, I still have to like bigger ones, like Nami, Robin, Empress, etc. Lolita too small, yes. Too young, immature, mature to be attractive. By the way, wouldn't Zoro be here? Tong looked towards a figure in the distance and saw Zoro lying on the ground covered in blood. I felt helpless. He was indeed the one with the most bleeding among the pirates. He could bleed so much every time without dying. Looking back, Tong looked at Perona and said calmly, You said you want to hire Zio? Perona was a little worried about Tong. After all, the shock of him chopping up the island just now was still fresh in her mind. Somewhat nervously, No, that's right. Tong chuckled, That's good, we are here. You provide us with the target person, and if the price is okay, pay the deposit, and then sign the employment agreement, and you can officially hire the Zio organization. Perona wilted a little when she heard this. When she was photographed here by a bear, she didn't bring anything with her. Where could she find the money? Seeing her coquettishness, Tong said disdainfully, You don't have money, do you? As soon as Perona heard this, her tsundere attribute immediately came up. Of course I have money. Perona spoke righteously, but after seeing Tong's eyes under the mask. Suddenly feeling a little scared again, she said Nuo, it's just not with me, it's on the terrifying three-masted ship. Tong is simply not around. Doesn't this mean he has no money? He turned around to leave and said casually, Then you can come to us Zio after you go back and get it. Perona thought about it. She was photographed by a bear. She didn't know where she was. She wanted a boat, but there was no boat. That guy Hawkeye is like a popsicle and will definitely not help him. If she could go back, she would have gone back long ago. Would she still stay here? There is nothing here, not even lovely servants thinking of this. Perona felt very depressed and scolded the bear. Soon, the submarine organized by Zio surfaced. Codename Zero stood aside and waited quietly for Tong to get on the boat first. When Perona saw it, her eyes lit up. Isn't this just a ready-made ship? As long as he lets Zio take him away, he can go back to the three masts of terror. I saw her smiling and stepping forward and said, Can you take me for a ride? Before he even finished speaking, Tong refused directly, No. How can the Zio organization's ship allow outsiders to enter? A hint of dominance emerged in Tong's words. Perona's whole body was agitated, and she couldn't help but curse in her heart. Why are all the men she meets like this? For example, Hawkeye, the green-haired straw hat partner, doesn't know how to treat girls better? He was so indifferent, as if he owed him money. Perona gritted her teeth and wanted to say something, but finally gave up. The man in front of me has eagle eyes and is terrifying. But Perona really wanted to leave here and return to the terrifying three-mast, and didn't want to be with Hawkeye and that road idiot. She thought about it and made a decision secretly. She said, If you take me back, I will pay double the commission for the hiring mission. Tong paused slightly before boarding the boat. Double? But after thinking about it, he asked, Who is the target? If it's just tens of millions, double the amount won't do. Perona said hurriedly, No. Because she was outside, she didn't want to say who she wanted to kill. All he could say was, The target mission is worth at least 400 million. If it were doubled, it would be 800 million. Speaking of this, she felt a little painful in her heart. This was 800 million, 2/3 of his savings, but in order to be able to leave, she risked her life. Tong was very interested and asked, Do you have so much money? Perona immediately said, of course. Sure enough, 9 out of 10 Lolita are rich. Tong murmured in his heart. By the way, Perona answered so quickly, there must be no upper limit, and looking at her impatient look, it seemed like she really wanted to leave here. In fact, at the beginning, Perona was very dissatisfied with staying on the island of Hawkeye. It was only after Zoro came and stayed here for 2 years that she gradually got used to it. Tong showed a wicked smile in his heart. Why don't he trick this lowly? Thinking about it, Tong said in a cold, majestic tone without any refutation, 3 times, otherwise there is no need to discuss anything. Perona was instantly shocked. How could it be 3 times her entire family property is only 1.2 billion Baileys, and this is all she has? Perona said coldly, crossing her hands on her chest, no way, he is really a black-hearted guy, not cute at all. Tong said disdainfully, it's cute but can't be eaten, so what's the use? Perona snorted again, I don't want it anymore. After that, I was ready to leave. Tong's voice came, you can't use that money when you stay here. It's almost the same as having it or not. Besides, you don't know when you can leave this island. You might stay here for the rest of your life. All that money can do is it's easier for others. After saying that, he ignored it and said casually, let's go. Code name 0. Tong plans to stimulate Perona. That's 1.2 billion. As long as Perona agrees to write this amount on the employment agreement, all the money can be converted into wealth. And she said that this target task is worth about 400 million, which is estimated to be at the level of Shichibukai. The Akatsuki organization will definitely complete the task easily. If this happens, it will be a huge profit. Sure enough, Perona felt that what Tong said was very reasonable. You have to know that she has no way to leave now. Does the money really belong to her? If this was found by others, wouldn't it be an advantage to others? But I thought that if I agreed, then all the money would be given to the Zio organization, which would be a benefit to the Zio organization. Tong had been watching out of the corner of his eye and saw that her heart was already moved and she was hesitant, so she could finally break her defense. He said, even if you go back, you will have to pay 1.2 billion, but at least you can leave here. Do you want to stay here with an expressionless person like Hawkeye? When Hawkeye heard this from a distance, his expression didn't change at all. He said calmly, I don't want to stay with her either. After saying that, he left without looking back and walked towards the castle. Suddenly being dragged into the trap by Tong, he was no longer in the mood to watch the show. Just go back and practice swordplay, and one day I will challenge Wu again. When Perona heard what Hawkeye said, she immediately became angry and cursed. It sounds like I really want to. I'm going to leave now and leave this boring place. He gritted his teeth and snorted, okay. I promise you, 1.2 billion is 1.2 billion. After saying that, he made a face at Hawkeye's back. He followed Tong and left without looking back. Tong ignored it and walked directly into the submarine. I was very happy. This wave was very profitable, and I directly booked 1.2 billion wealth points. Feilu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 26. It's really comfortable to bully cute things. Please vote for flower evaluation. Soon Tong and others entered the submarine. The submarine hatch slowly closed and sank to the bottom of the water. Hawkeye had already arrived at Zoro's side, stopped, and turned to look at where the submarine had just been. There was no trace of ripples in his sharp eyes. Can't you even look up to me? Zoro gritted his teeth and asked reluctantly. As a fellow swordsman, Zoro naturally understands Hawkeye's current mood. Just like when he first met Hawkeye and was severely injured by him with a knife. Reluctant admired wanted to become a strong person at that level. Hawkeye nodded. At this moment, there was no trace of arrogance on his face, but perseverance and unyieldingness. This was the backbone of a strong man. It seems that not only you, but also me now have a goal that needs to be surpassed. The number one swordsman in the world is no longer me, but I am very happy. Song has allowed me to see a higher level of swordsmanship. The only sword in the world is the sword of sincerity. There is only one sword in the world. The Emperor. Emperor in the sword? Zoro muttered. That's right. Even my black sword, knight, is convinced when Zoro first arrived he didn't see the previous scene, so he didn't know there was anything like it. Now that I heard Hawkeye's words, I couldn't help but feel shocked. I didn't expect Hawkeye to lose so miserably. You must know that just being stronger by one level, or even several levels, may not have this effect. After all, Hawkeye is also recognized as the strongest swordsman, and even he was defeated so miserably. What level did that person just reach? Hawkeye withdrew his gaze and turned to leave. After a while, Zoro turned around and cursed, "Don't leave me. I'm seriously injured now and it's hard to walk back." AA. In this competition, Hawkeye directly gave the title of No. 1 swordsman to Yi Tong. But only a few people on the island knew about it, but Yi Tong didn't care. The strength is there, and when the day comes when the world sees it, everyone will be stunned by it. Yi Tong feels that if he wants to take action, he has to take action to shock the world. But is it useless to shock some people? It would be interesting to wait until he is fully powerful and comes out to defeat all the heroes. Yi Tong is crossing his legs and swaying. In front of him, a subordinate was reporting to Yi Tong on this large-scale employment task. The client this time is anonymous. The character to be killed is one of the 3 major disasters under Kaido of the Beasts, Jack the Drow. The hiring fee is 1 billion. Yo! Yi Tong grinned and said, "I didn't expect that he would turn out to be an incredible person this time." On the side, Perona was coming out of the room arranged by Yi Tong and wanted to complain. After hearing about this mission, she was shocked. She asked loudly, "A Cotter-level figure in the 4 Emperors, Jack?" Yi Tong glanced at her, ignored her, and said calmly, "Yes." "Did the other party give her the joint position?" Yi Tong asked. "This time the mission is anonymous. These must be determined clearly first." "Are you crazy? Saya really want to take on this mission?" "That's one of the 4 emperors. He is said to be the strongest creature on the face of the earth. He has many powerful men under his command. Captain Moria was killed by the Kaido group in the New World. I know how scary Kaido is, so I advise the Akatsuki organization to give up. Although you have 50 ability users, there are tens of thousands of Zoan ability users under Kaido's command. What are you going to fight with?" Perona spoke excitedly and kept urging Yi Tong to think again. In her opinion, although the Akatsuki organization is quite strong, it is not strong enough to compete with major forces. Yi Tong rolled his eyes and said angrily, "Shut up. It's really noisy." Perona was displeased. "I'm doing this for your own good. If you touch Kaido's people, he will definitely fight Sao until death. Now Marine is also ready to attack Akatsuki. If you mess with Kaido, you won't know how you will die." "Huh." Yi Tong smiled disdainfully, "Fighting to the death. I didn't make trouble for them, so they are thankful to God. They still dare to fight to the death with me." Perona crossed her arms and said proudly, "How cute. You don't even draft a draft when you are bragging? I admit that you are awesome, but you don't have the final say in this world." Yi Tong was a little tired of this tsundere Lolita. He kept talking a lot, but he didn't have a good word. "It seems that it needs to be adjusted carefully. No. Just give it a good education." Yi Tong said coldly, "Code 0, surface the submarine and throw her out." "Yes, Master." The burly body of Code 0 walked towards Perona. Perona was immediately frightened. Her own strength was unparalleled. If she was really thrown out, she wouldn't be able to resist. But her proud character made her unwilling to bow down. In the meantime, Code 0 grabbed it with his big hand. Perona continued to struggle in vain, as she was about to reach the hatch. Perona was really scared now. She was a person with abilities, so being thrown out would definitely lead to death. In the face of life, being arrogant is nothing, right? I saw her pleading continuously. I was wrong, I was wrong. I dare not talk too much at night. Tong has a very naughty personality. He touched his nose and asked with a dandy look on his face, "What's wrong?" "I shouldn't disturb your purity by talking nonsense, nor should I question your decision." Tong nodded, and then said, "Then how can we atone for our sins?" How to atone for one's sins is a question for Perona. Seeing Yi Tong's cold eyes, she felt that if she didn't speak well, she would definitely be thrown out. I felt a little regretful. If I had known this, I would have stayed on Hawkeye Island. Although it was boring, it was not life-threatening. I feel like I've fallen into a tiger's mouth. Thinking of this, Perona felt a little aggrieved, with tears in her eyes. Yi Tong didn't care about this and said impatiently, "Code Zero, throw her out." Perona screamed out in awe, "I wash and cook for you, make cows and horses for you, don't throw me out." Yi Tong's and Chunin couldn't help but laugh. Sure enough, bullying cute things would make you feel good. Yi Tong coughed, "This is your decision, but this is not to wrong you. Think about it, you sit on my boat with me, you eat, drink, and sleep all provided by me. It's not too much work," Yi Tong said confidently. Perona nodded, "Yeah, you're right." But the clouds were already gathering in my heart, and the rain was pouring. Is this a human thing to say? Why didn't you say that you would cheat me with 1.2 billion? Seeing that Perona was as good as a quail, Yi Tong had no interest in bullying her. He waved his hand and signaled Code Zero to let her go. Yi Tong didn't care about her anymore and continued to get down to business and asked, "What about the meeting place this time?" The hirer is anonymous, so Yi Tong plans to ask clearly and then arrange the next trip. The location of this mission is a bit special. The opponent chose the Golden City as the meeting point. Yi Tong was a little surprised. Golden City? Could it be that he was hired by Desolo? Felu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 27, Believe in the Master. Please vote for Flower Evaluation. In this way, Yi Tong's Dawn main unit headed towards the Golden City. After thinking about it, Yi Tong felt that it couldn't be Desolo because he had no reason to kill Kaido. Hiring Akatsuki to kill celestial dragons is almost enough. However, it doesn't matter who it is to Yi Tong. What matters is that the money arrives. Only in this way can he draw prizes, upgrade, and become stronger. The night is getting darker. The submarine was driving slowly on the silent sea bottom. After a few small fish looked at it curiously, they were frightened by this huge creature and swam away quickly. Yi Tong lay on the boat, thinking about things. There are only 3 days until Marine's World recruitment begins. At that time, your own people can blend into Marine. Recently, as the Akatsuki organization has become more and more famous, Marine's efforts to arrest the Akatsuki organization have become increasingly intense. The celestial dragons must be scared. Yi Tong didn't expect that in just over half a month he would become so powerful. Now the other 3 departments are also performing tasks, as long as the employment funds are collected. Wealth points will rise again. Thinking. Yi Tong fell into sleep. The room was silent, but in the toilet, there were angry voices. "Damn it. It's really hateful." Perona yelled angrily while washing her clothes. Yi Tong really treated her like a mediocre person. In comparison, the Golden City, the city that never sleeps. At this time, there was a huge crowd. Come on, I'll push big, all in. Do you dare? Why don't you dare? Who are you looking down on? At the gambling table, some big guys are fighting for their lives. On the side, all kinds of enchanting beauties were complimenting and laughing. "Hey, Officials are really brave. At this time, a man wearing a pink furry coat strode in. There were also several people wearing different clothes. This group of people is Doflamingo and his cotters. At this time, Desalo laughed and said, rare visitors, rare visitors. Doflamingo, why are you here today? I remember the last batch of goods. I should have paid all the money. Doflamingo laughed, of course I know. How can I worry that the world's richest man will default on payment-o? Then why did the Lord of the Underground Dark Market come to me? Desalo showed surprise on his face, but still said with a smile. Doflamingo waved his hand, no, no, there is another one. How can I be the master? That one? Didn't you want to take action on that one and they were gone? Doflamingo stared at Desalo with a smile, non-committal under his sunglasses. It's not like you don't know that he is related to the CP organization. Desalo looked stunned. Oh, so that's it. I really didn't know. Although Doflamingo still smiled brightly, his eyes under his sunglasses showed dissatisfaction. Last time I asked Desalo to kill the opponent, but I didn't expect that this guy looked like he didn't know anything. It's really infuriating. Seeing that Doflamingo remained silent, Desalo naturally knew what he was thinking. He ignored it and changed the subject. Come on, come on. We have recently invented a new way to play. Do you want to try it? Doflamingo waved his hand. No, help me arrange a room. I want the best meeting room. There will be some great people coming tomorrow. Desalo's eyebrows jumped upon hearing this. He was a little curious, but since Doflamingo didn't say anything, he naturally wouldn't ask. As the overlord of one world, everyone knows that those who can speak will naturally speak directly, and those who cannot speak will naturally not speak. Desalo laughed. No problem. I will arrange it for you right away. By the way, I have a batch of goods here, very exciting ones. Do you want to try them? Doflamingo ignored it, waved his hand, and walked slowly into the city. Desalo didn't care either. He still had a smile on his face. I couldn't help but wonder, big shot. Who could it be? 4 emperors? Still he thought of something. Immediately, the smile on his face disappeared. Could it be celestial dragons? But it was denied. If celestial dragons were concerned, it would be impossible for Doflamingo to meet here. It seems like a shady force. Desalo is so smart. When I think of shady organizations, I think of Xiao, which has been in the limelight recently. The next moment, Desalo's face was filled with a smile again. If it was really Akatsuki, that would be very interesting. Moreover, I can also observe the Akatsuki organization. As the world's richest man, he has many enemies. Besides, Desalo's smile disappeared, and an angry look appeared on his face again. Celestial dragons. The night was quickly dispersed by day, and the sun shone down on the blue ocean, making the sea surface golden. Tong stood on the splint and stretched. The weather is so nice. We will reach the Golden City soon. I wonder who will be anonymous this time. On the side, Desalo had heavy dark circles under her eyes. She stayed very late doing housework last night. His little face was full of anger, but he was too embarrassed to get angry, otherwise he would be thrown into the sea by Tong, and he would be finished. After a while, Perona said, "Are you really going to take action against Jack?" Tong agreed and said nothing more. Perona snorted again in her heart. Looking at this look made people uncomfortable. However, she was a talkative person and had no one else to chat with. So she had to continue asking, "Jack, I believe you Xiao can kill, but..." Perona's face showed concern. "Aren't you afraid of Kaido's anger?" Tong turned his head and glanced at Perona, and said with a wicked smile, "You must trust your master." Perona raised her eyebrows and gritted her teeth. Tong ignored it. "Do you dare to scold me? Dare you refute me?" Time passes quickly. Finally, near noon, Tong and others arrived at the meeting point, the Golden City. Tong sent 3 powerful men, code-named 0 and code-named 8 and 9, to hand over to their employer. Seeing Perona, she looked like she wanted to go and see her. Tong thought for a while and gave her a set of Xiao clothes. Perona's eyes lit up and she praised Tong happily, completely forgetting what Tong had done to her before. She had heard of this place before. It was magnificent and must be beautiful. Tong is happy in his heart. Sure enough, as long as it is always bitter and then given a little sweetness, people will be grateful, even if it is just a small piece of sugar. Just like that, codenames 0, 8, 9 and Perona stepped into the Golden City. At the same time, on the other side, in a high-end conference room, Doflamingo and a group of cotters were quietly waiting for the Xiao organization. Feilu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 28. Famous. Please vote for Flower Evaluation. Codename 0 and Perona set foot on the Golden City. I saw the reception ladies neatly arranged in 2 rows, with a long red blanket in the middle. It seems that he has been waiting for a long time. Welcome to the Xiao organization. A group of welcoming ladies said respectfully. Codename 0 and the other 3 people didn't care much about this and looked around. On the side, Perona had never seen such a scene before, and the satisfaction in her heart was overwhelming under the mask. How long ago had you been treated like this? If it were Captain Moria who came, he probably wouldn't even have the waitress. It has to be said that the terrifying 3-mast pirate group and the Akatsuki organization are not on the same level at all. She felt like she was being treated like a princess now. At this time, Desolo walked over from the side. I saw a bright smile on his face, stretched out his hand in an exaggerated hug, and said, "It's really a rare visitor. I didn't expect that the famous Akatsuki organization would come to visit me. As the saying goes, don't hit the smiling person. See Desolo and be polite." Although Code 0 did not return the hug, he politely extended his hand to shake his hand, and then said calmly, "Who is your employer?" Since Desolo came out to greet him in advance, he naturally knew about this, or he was the anonymous person, so Code 0 asked him directly. Desolo didn't care that Code 0 didn't hug him, and even if he did care, he wouldn't express it on his face. After shaking hands with Code 0, he smiled and said, "The employer is waiting in the high-end area. I will take you there right now." Code 0 nodded and said no more. Desolo led several people towards the red carpet. Perona was stunned again. Xiao, the organization, had just been born a few days ago, and I didn't expect that it would be treated like this. You know, Desolo is the richest man in the world, and he is also an independent country recognized by world conquest, which means that Desolo is still a presidential-level figure. Even if he greets him personally, he is willing to lead the way. Xiao, the organization, is too big. Perona was so excited when she thought about this, she didn't even blink. Suddenly I felt that if I was also a member of Xiao, it would actually be pretty good. When he came back to his senses, he saw that several people had already walked away, so he quickly followed them. On the side, a group of female receptionists bowed respectfully when they saw Xiao approaching. At the end of the red carpet, a pure gold extended welcome car was waiting for a long time. Desolo personally opened the door for Xiao and his group. After Code 0 nodded and expressed his thanks, the group quickly got in the car and walked towards the high-end area. The road was smooth, and the vehicle drove into the high-end area and then entered a high-rise building. This high-rise building seemed like a sharp sword thrust into the sky. Desolo smiled and said, "The employer is up here. I will take you up." With that said, he led several people into the building very respectfully. "Walk through the hall and enter a basement," Desolo said with a smile, because the high-level meeting room is a secret meeting room that is absolutely confidential. You don't enter through the main entrance. You have to go through the underground floor and use the elevator here to go up. Code 0 nodded and said nothing. It is normal for employers to be vigilant. After all, these tasks are not simple. Several people passed by the casino, and Zio's iconic clothing instantly attracted people's attention. They all looked over. Hey! Look, a group of incredible people have appeared. TCH. We've seen so many incredible people, no need to make a fuss digging. Is it Akatsuki? Why are Zio members out here? It feels like something big is going to happen again. I have to say, when you see it up close, it's really terrifying. It's an organization that dares to seriously injure Marine Admiral. They even threatened to accept the mission of killing celestial dragons. A friend of mine is in Marine and has some status. I heard that after this world conscription, Marine will make big moves against Akatsuki. I heard that they will try to recruit people. If the Akatsuki organization refuses, they will be strangled. I feel a little difficult. The Akatsuki organization's whereabouts are unpredictable. It's impossible to guess where they will appear, and you have also seen the strength of the Akatsuki organization. If we really want to strangle it, I'm afraid it will happen again on the scale of the Summit War. People who can hang out here are considered to be prominent figures. They are more courageous and know more information. But despite this, these world's top figures all chose to shut up when a few people from the Dawn organization approached. The eyes that were originally looking directly at him began to dodge, and he did not dare to look directly at the Akatsuki organization for fear of accidentally offending Akatsuki. Hey! Don't look at it. If you accidentally offend the Akatsuki organization, you will definitely suffer. Didn't you see that Desalo was so generous that he personally welcomed the family? The originally noisy casino became very quiet at this moment. No one dared to make any sound. Today, the reputation of the Akatsuki organization has been deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. Although deep down, I still feel that the four emperors and Marine are more powerful. After all, they are the old forces. But he is even more afraid of the Akatsuki organization because the Akatsuki organization's form and style so far are too overbearing. Desalo quickly led a few people with the code name 0 to the meeting room. There were not many polite words. Code 0 and others took their seats directly opposite Doflamingo, while Desalo sat in the middle. Code 0 went straight to the point. Doflamingo paid the deposit and also provided Jack's current location information. As he spoke, he took out an employment agreement from his sleeve and pushed it in front of Doflamingo. Sign this agreement and the employment will be officially established. Doflamingo looked at Code 0 with a smile, but made no move. Code 0 frowned slightly and stared at Doflamingo. After listening to Doflamingo for a while, he said, "Is the Akatsuki organization so confident? This mission is one of Kaido's 3 major disasters." The eyes under the Code 0 mask were indifferent. He wanted to see more of what Doflamingo wanted to do. How about this? I am also thinking of the Akatsuki organization. How about testing Akatsuki organization's strength first? Code 0 sneered. I sighed in my heart. There are so many stubborn people. I asked in my heart, "Master, how should I deal with this?" Tong put the fruit in the fruit bowl into his mouth and said casually, "People have already put their faces up, so why do you need to say it?" "As you command, Master," Code 0 responded in his heart. Then he looked at Doflamingo jokingly and said, "Of course, it's reasonable to hire someone who wants to test whether we have the ability to complete the commission." Doflamingo was excited and waved to the family members. "Did you hear that? They want us to try our strength." Feilu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 29, Face It Yourself. Beat. Please vote for flower evaluation. On the side, Desalo also said with great interest, "I'm also very interested in the Akatsuki organization. Can I join it too?" "Of course. I naturally won't let the Akatsuki organization suffer. Let's just treat it as a bet. If the Akatsuki organization can defeat us, How about I pay 1 billion Baileys? After Desilo finished speaking, he looked at the Xiao people to see if they would answer. But what surprised him was that Code Zero nodded without even thinking about it. Of course. It's just that fighting is ruthless. If you get hurt, you can't blame us. Desilo snorted slightly in his heart. What does this mean? Are you so confident that you can match us? Although he was disdainful in his heart, he still smiled on the surface, of course. It's normal to get injured during the competition. I also hope that if someone on Xiao's side is injured, he won't hold a grudge against us. After all, Xiao is now a notorious killer organization, so we will still be afraid. Desilo said he was afraid, but it didn't show on his face. It was not that he was mocking. Everything here is made of gold and this is his home court. He still doesn't believe that he and Doflamingo's family will be defeated. There are only 3 people on the other side. Doflamingo also had a playful look on his face, and his eyes were non-committal under his sunglasses. The next moment, a figure appeared behind the Akatsuki member. That figure turned out to be Doflamingo himself, or rather his clone. Doflamingo's clone jumped into the air, holding an invisible thread in his hand, and slashed the sharp thread towards the 4 people named Code Zero. I saw Code 8, who was closest to him, moving very fast. The laser sword appeared in his hand and he slashed backwards. Cut off the thread and then, the laser sword god-long stabbed directly at Doflamingo's clone. Among the 4, Perona didn't even have time to react, and the Doflamingo clone that made a sneak attack was cut in half. Doflamingo frowned slightly and made a sound. With a wave of his hand, Xiao's chairs turned into countless white threads that stabbed everyone. Desilo grinned. The surrounding families and the ground made of gold were like pythons spreading up, trying to trap a few people. The other party and the rest of the family also took action. Raoji's skinny, but very strong body suddenly jumped out and punched towards Code Zero. Pika's sharp voice shouted, and the huge rocks attached to his fists were blasted towards several people. Code Zero finally started to move at this moment. The laser on his body was booming, and then he shot countless lasers. The bodies of the people attacking were stagnant, and they quickly stopped to block. And it was during this gap that Code Zero, Code 8, and Code 9 all took action. Codename 9 is responsible for Desilo, while Codename 8 goes directly to Doflamingo. The strongest Codename 0 is responsible for all members of the Doflamingo family. Desilo was the first to react and saw Code 8 attacking him. The laser sword in his hand shines brightly, and the power of this blow is terrifying. Desilo gritted his teeth. If you want to defeat me with one blow, don't even think about it. He stood up quickly, and the gold on the ground was like a flow of mud, forming a wall in front of him, blocking the way of Code 8. Desilo chuckled. It's nothing more than that. But the next moment, he felt his eyes sting. What's the situation? He turned around and saw a terrifying scene. A smiling face wearing a black mask appeared in front of him, very close at hand. Why? Will appear here. Light can be refracted. Code 8 chuckled. Taking advantage of this, Codename 8 has arrived next to Desilo in an instant. Desilo was horrified and quickly attached himself to pure gold armor. It's too late. Codename 8 laughed. The charged blow just now was swung down, and Haki directly cut Desilo's gold armor into pieces, directly reaching his body. Then, he kicked his foot away, and Desilo flew backwards and hit the wall. Desoro got it. Okay. Tong was still eating the fruit with a nonchalant look on his face. A guy who was defeated by Luffy still dares to challenge Xiao. It's better to hand over the 1 billion obediently. Desilo fell, and on the other side, the Doflamingo family members were in a worse situation. Although there are many people, Code Zero's strength is top-notch. How can they be seen as the ones who are stronger than Vice Admiral? Code Zero struck hard, and in the blink of an eye, everyone was lying on the ground motionless and passed out. At the same time, Doflamingo used the fruit to awaken and entangle him for a while, but the laser fruit power was not covered. Code 9 kicked him away. This kick attached to Haki. Doflamingo immediately vomited blood and flew out. Then, Codename 9 chased after him with a laser sword in hand. Doflamingo was still flying upside down when he was cut down by the laser sword, and blood spurted out of his chest instantly. He fell heavily to the ground. At this time, the house was in a mess, with only the 3 people named Code 0 standing in battle and a confused Perona. Not even a minute has passed, right? No, not even half a minute, right? Desolo, including the entire Doflamingo family, felt it's normal to get injured during a sparring match. I hope you won't hurt your harmony. Code 0 voice echoed faintly in the room. Doflamingo and Desolo were speechless. At this moment, the fear in their hearts has not subsided. I originally thought that so many people could stand together, but I didn't expect that the strength of the 3 of them was so terrifying there was no point in fighting back. Only now did the 2 of them realize how stupid the idea they and others had just been. Doflamingo, Desolo to bring the money. We Akatsuki won't bother you for now at this moment. The 2 of them dared to pretend to be dead. Zio, several people are pretending to be merciful, otherwise they are very sure that they will faint and die like others. Doflamingo stood up with difficulty and took the deposit to Code 0 from the corner. These 5 boxes, each with 100 million, are the deposits. Doflamingo said. After Code 0 checked that there was no problem with the deposit, he handed the employment agreement to Doflamingo. You sign this, and we Zio will take over the job this time. By the way, also provide the current location of the target mission. Doflamingo took out an envelope from his pocket, with a fierce look in his eyes. We don't know Jack's specific location now. We only have his life card. You can use the life card to track down Jack's location. Code 0 took the envelope without saying anything. And Desolo also asked his subordinates to give 1 billion Bailey to the Akatsuki organization. As for defaulting on your debt, how dare he do such a thing now? Just now Zio organized 3 people in an instant, and I and others can still vividly remember it. Code 0 will take the deposit and still have 1 billion Baileys. He sneered. When you 2 compete in the future, you should think twice before you act. Otherwise the egg will break when it touches a stone. Doflamingo and Desolo, one as the head of a country and the other as the head of a family, were extremely angry when they heard this. But he didn't dare to have an attack, so he was speechless. Code 0 sneered again and left directly. Felu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 30, Stretch Your Muscles. Please vote for Flower Evaluation. When Zio left, Desolo's expression immediately became ferocious. He cursed loudly, "Damn it. You look down on people so much. But there is really nothing we can do about it. The Akatsuki organization is indeed worthy of its reputation and is too powerful." He looked at Doflamingo unwillingly and asked, "Doflamingo, is there anything you can do?" Doflamingo wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, stared at the direction Akatsuki left, and said with a ferocious smile, "Although Akatsuki is powerful, it is true that she is facing the Kaido of the Beast's pirate group this time. I'm afraid Akatsuki will also suffer heavy losses this time." Desolo raised an eyebrow and looked at Doflamingo. Doflamingo continued, "I didn't tell them the news about Jack, just to make them conflict with the Beast's pirates. You know, Jack is with a fire disaster now. No matter how strong the Akatsuki organization is, it will not be so easy to face these 2 people. No matter whether I succeed or not, I will still make money. That guy Jack is a reckless man. If he succeeds, I won't be able to see him again, and I feel better. If he fails, the Kaido pirates will definitely lose their combat power if they conflict with Akatsuki. At that time, Kaido will rely on me even more. This 1 billion is just an investment. It will bring me more benefits. Maybe I won't have to pay the next 500 million even if Sao organization suffers heavy losses. You must know that Yan and Drought are not as powerful as Whitebeard Roman II, Caribou and himself. At this time, in the middle of the New World, 2 large pirate ships were sailing on the sea. The logo on the pirate flag is the Kaido of the Beast's pirate group. One of the 2 captains above is Jack and Jae-hin. Jack sat on the chair, turned to look at Jae-hin, and said, "Brother, it's been so many days, why haven't I caught up with Whitebeard and the others?" "Don't worry, we will catch up sooner or later anyway. Haha, Whitebeard is so seriously injured, maybe we can kill him this time. In this way, we Beast's pirates can annex Whitebeard's power," Jae-hin said calmly. "The other captains of Whitebeard are not vegetarians. This mission is just for harassment. Don't be too hasty." Jae-hin knows very well that Jack's character is too fierce, which is not a good thing. The Whitebeard pirates are not empty now. Jack laughed and said disdainfully, "The squad leader doesn't matter, Jack, am not afraid of them." Jae-hin glanced at Jack and said nothing. Jack's character is like this. This time, most of Whitebeard's 12th Division captains are responsible for guarding the territories of all parties. So this mission is quite simple. It no longer seemed like this. Jae-hin chatted. "The Akatsuki organization has been very active recently. I don't know if they will emerge to challenge the 4 emperors after the Whitebeard Pirates' collapse position." Jack was disdainful again. "Who is the Akatsuki organization? They don't deserve the title of 4 emperors. Tong has been sailing with the life card for 2 or 3 days. Finally, we saw a small island. On the coast, there are 3 huge ships docked." Verona looked at one of the giant white ships and exclaimed, "Isn't this the ship of the Whitebeard Pirates?" Tong was also surprised. Why did Whitebeard's ship dock with the Beast's pirates' ship? Tong touched his chin. He was not sure how many people there were on the island this time, and how many strong people there were. Tong is a prudent person. He said to Code 0, 0, 8 and 9, "You go and investigate the situation first. If you see Jack, don't do anything yet. Take a look at what's happening on the island. If the Beasts and Whitebeard have formed an alliance, I'm calling other branches to come together." On the side, Verona blinked in surprise. This is the first time she has heard that the Zio organization has branches. It seems that Tong still has a hidden card. No wonder he is so confident. But if Whitebeard really alliances with Kaido of the Beasts, it will be useless for Tong to hide his secret. Although I am curious, I really don't dare to ask. 0, 8, and 9 took the order and left the submarine directly. After a while, Codename 0 and others had seen the target mission Jack. "Master, found Jack." Codename 0 Huey reports. Hearing this, Tong turned on visual sharing and looked at Code 0 perspective. Below, I saw 2 dark groups of people confronting each other. One group of people is headed by Jack and Jae-hin, while the other group of people is Whitebeard and Captain Marco. There are obviously much more people on Jack's side than on Whitebeard's side. At this time, Marco looked at Jae-hin and Jack with a solemn expression and asked in a low voice, "What do the Beast's pirates do here? Don't you know this is Whitebeard's territory?" Jack sneered. "Don't you look at the dad behind you? He probably can't even stand up, right? Our captain said that he just gave us all the territory and spared your life. After all, Whitebeard and our captain are also on the same ship. There will also be some old friendship." Marco said angrily, "It sounds nice, but don't we know who Kaido is? I urge you all to leave. Don't think that we, the Whitebeard Pirates, are still bullying you." Jack snorted coldly. "Can't anyone bully the current Whitebeard Pirates?" Marco didn't even look at it. "If you have the guts, come up and give it a try." Jack has a strong personality and has been eager to fight. After Marco finished speaking, he immediately transformed into an ancient giant elephant and attacked Marco with its huge trunk. Tong was watching everything happening in front of him through this perspective and touched his chin. It turns out that the beasts are here to cause trouble for Whitebeard. In this way, Tong doesn't have to ask other branches to come over at all. The people named Code Zero are enough to kill Jack. Tong plans to send everyone there this time so that other subordinates can stretch their muscles. Thinking of this, Tong got out of the submarine. On the side, Perona floated curiously and followed Tong out. What's wrong? Do you mean you want to do it yourself? Tong shook his head. These people don't need me to do anything. Then what are you doing? Perona was confused. Tong glanced at Perona with a smile. Then, with a wave of his hand, he directly summoned everyone in the small world. In the blink of an eye, a large group of people appeared in the originally empty space, filling the space. Everyone was arranged neatly, like an unshakable city wall. The next moment, everyone knelt down on one knee, bowed their heads and said respectfully, "Master." On the side, Perona was stunned and her mouth opened wide. "I'm going." So many people, the strength of these people gave her a feeling that no one in her group could beat her. All of them are strong. No one is like a shrimp, a soldier or a general. This is too shocking. Perona turned her head and looked at Tong. I saw Tong standing in front of everyone with his hands behind his back, looking cool and unrestrained. How many trump cards does this man have? Tong looked at Perona's shocked expression and felt happy. However, he had to maintain dignity in front of his subordinates, so his face remained stern. Tong said calmly, "Many people have not taken action until now. I will let you have fun today." The subordinates responded one after another. They were created by the system as killers, and they were naturally keen on killing. Today I finally have the opportunity, so naturally everyone is very excited. Felu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 31. No bodies left. Please vote for flower evaluation. This time, Tong asked all members of Zio's headquarters to dispatch. The main point is to train troops. Tong watched everyone leave and said to the three people named Code Zero, "The target Jack will be killed, and anyone else who dares to intervene will be killed without mercy." "Yes, Master." The three codenamed Zero people responded in unison. On the battlefield, the blue flames on Marco's body kept swaying, and there were so many injuries on his body that even the fruit ability could not be recovered. Whitebeard's face was full of gloom. Just now, in order to protect him, Marco just took the attacks from Jack and Jaehin without retreating at all. Jack sneered, "The Whitebeard Pirates are nothing more than that." Marco glared at the two of them, gritted his teeth and stood up again. He just needs to hold on until other division captains come to support him. He was ready to die in battle. But at this moment, Jaehin's expression changed and he said, "Jack, there is someone else." After saying that, he looked behind him, then looked to the left and there were people on the right as well. Jack saw that C was weaker than Jaehin, and he didn't realize it until Jaehin reminded him. The two quickly saw who it was that came. Black robe, black smiley masked on. Code Zero was suspended in the air and looked down at the two of them, while Code 8 and 9 were walking slowly from left to right. At this moment, both the Whitebeard Pirates and the Beasts Pirates looked solemn. They all had the same thought in their minds. "Zio, why does the organization appear here? Zio, is it an enemy or a friend?" Compared to the Whitebeard Pirates, the Beasts Pirates are a bit wary, but they are much calmer. After all, the leader of the two disasters is extremely powerful, and this time he is dispatched with 500 Zoan Fruit Legions under his command. This strength is already very strong. When everyone below was silent, Code Zero was the first to speak. "Jack will die, and everyone else who takes action will die as well." This sentence serves as an oath for this war. It is mainly Jack. The others do not kill for the sake of watching the show, but help to kill together. After Jack heard this, he couldn't help laughing as if he had heard some joke. "That's really interesting. Are you saying you want to kill me?" Did you kill those losers to the point of killing them? I am the third strongest person under the command of 4 Emperors Kaido. What qualifications do you have to kill me? Code Zero just smiled faintly and said nothing. Jack was a little annoyed. That's what you said. No need to talk to dead people, Code Zero said indifferently. Jack's eyes suddenly became fierce, and his huge nose suddenly pointed towards Code Zero. But the next moment his movements froze and his pupils trembled. Not just Jack, everyone present, whether it's the Whitebeard Pirates or the Beast's Pirates. At this moment, everyone could not help but open their mouths and their minds were shaking. Above the sky, there are densely packed people from the Akatsuki organization, probably close to 1,000 people. How is this possible? Jack's voice was trembling. These nearly 1,000 people are all ability users. A large amount of sweat fell from Jae-hin's forehead. On Whitebeard's side, Marco swallowed his saliva. The Akatsuki organization's power is so terrifying. I was glad in my heart that this time I wasn't here to deal with myself and others. Whitebeard looked up, his eyes dark. Even he, a veteran and strong man, was extremely shocked at this moment. This reminded him of Rock's pirate, equally terrifying and powerful. No, perhaps Akatsuki is more terrifying than that. Is this era the era of Akatsuki? Above the sky, the voice of Codename Zero came again. Jack must die, and if anyone else dares to take action, they will be killed without mercy. The sound was like ringing a death knell, making everyone present palpitate. Jack's eyes became fierce again, and he roared, "Aren't you just a person with abilities? I, Jack, have never been a coward." The next moment, the huge elephant kicked its legs and attacked directly towards Code Zero. Jae-hin wanted to stop him, but Jack's speed was so fast that he had already shot out. Idiot! Jae-hin cursed in a low voice. He was too reckless. However, as the leader of the 3 disasters, he naturally cannot just watch Jack face the enemy alone. He quickly ordered to his men, "Transform and face the enemy together." Yes. All the men greeted him loudly. The 500 Zoan ability users transformed one after another, and then jumped into the air. Jae-hin transformed into an ancient pterosaur and flew into the sky, intending to sneak attack from behind. In the submarine, Tong looked at the scene and said coldly, "Beast's pirates are really stubborn. Do it." Yes. All members of Zio responded with overwhelming momentum. All raise their hands and aim at the Beast's pirates. Then the laser appeared, falling to the ground like heavy rain. Facing this laser rain, the so-called Zoan abilities of Beast's pirates were simply vulnerable, and they were shot down in midair. Jack was already approaching Code Number 0. He shouted loudly and used all his strength to smash his huge elephant trunk at Code Number 0. The laser sword in Code 0 hand appeared, and there was no wave on the face under the mask. Conqueror's Haki explodes. Immediately, the figure swooped away, heading directly towards Jack. The laser sword is like the sun, shining brightly. Facing Jack's attack, Elephant Trunk ignored him at all because his whole body was already attached to armament Haki. Seeing that Code Zero used Haki to directly resist his powerful blow, Jack's eyes showed shock. What? How is it possible? Code Zero ignored Jack's surprise and said, "Exclude me." As soon as he finished speaking, the sword that had been charging for a long time struck directly towards Jack's chest. Jack immediately uses armament Haki to defend. Leazi's armament Haki is also extremely powerful. He is confident that he can also rely on armament Haki to resist the attack of Codename Zero. But as soon as he finished speaking, Jack's pupils widened and a huge feeling of pain swept through his body. He vomited blood directly from his mouth and returned to his human form, unable to fall down. The opponent armament Haki turned out to be stronger than himself. Code Zero didn't stop. The Zoan fruit has strong defense and self-healing capabilities, so this blow only caused heavy damage. With his palm facing down, a laser ball appeared in his hand and the laser ball got bigger and bigger. Then Code Zero said indifferently, "Death." The huge laser ball in his hand was thrown towards the falling Jack. On the other side, Jaehin saw this and thought this was a good opportunity. He quickly made a sneak attack behind Code Zero, and his sharp claws were about to scratch Code Zero head. Presumptuous. Came two low shouts. Jaehin doesn't care. As long as he kills the strongest one named Zero, it will be easy for others to take care of him. But the next moment he realized he was wrong. The two people came from the left and right at the same time, and immediately cut each one down with a sword. Draw an X shape in the air. Jin vomited blood and was shocked. On the other side, the huge laser ball has fallen. He saw countless laser beams shooting towards him from the sky, and then engulfed him mercilessly. Boom. People here only feel that the island is trembling, as if it can no longer bear such fearful energy and is wailing, and it may collapse at any time. There was only white between the sky and the earth. Nothing else could be seen, only a huge roar could be heard from the side. Some weak people have tinnitus in the better part, bleeding from the ears in the bad part, and deafness. I don't know how long it took before the white light gradually disappeared. Only then did everyone gradually become able to see everything around them clearly. He quickly looked at the place where the Codename Zero organization had just attacked, and his fear of the Akatsuki organization had reached its peak. I saw that the pothole was 1/2 kilometer deep, and everything around it was reduced to nothingness, including Jack's body. Jack the corpse was turned into powder. The beast's pirates all looked at Akatsuki, which was still floating in the sky, and at this moment they couldn't help but start to retreat. Then he ignored him and ran away. I am not from the beast's pirates, neither do I. Don't kill us, I don't want to die. The beast's pirates became a mess and fled one after another, including Jaehin. He ran away regardless of aggravating his injuries. Feilu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 32. Fear from all walks of life. Please vote for Flower Evaluation. Codename Zero looked at the fleeing Jin and asked softly, Master, do you want to kill him? Tong asked while eating the fruit. Forget it. There is no salary for killing it. It is a waste of effort, and there is no benefit. He's just a loser. Spare his life. If you get hired to kill him one day, it won't be too late to kill him. Jack is dead. You can come back. Yes. Code Zero responded. Just like in the beginning, the Dawn organization appeared suddenly and left in a hurry. One by one, the figures turned into lasers and headed into the distance. On the island, only the Blackbeard Pirates and others are left. After the Akatsuki organization had left for a while, the Blackbeard Pirates and others came back to their senses. Akatsuki killed Jack. I feel like I'm in a dream. Me too. That was the 3 Calamity Jack. He was instantly killed in 2 moves. Even the body was gone. Even those with Zoan abilities are weak in front of the Akatsuki organization. How many people will the Zio organization send this time? How would you know? It's so dark that you can't tell. There are nearly 1,000. Thousands of people with abilities. Damn, this is too scary. All the subordinates were talking about it. Only Whitebeard and Marco were speechless. Zio no 4 Emperor's organization can easily deal with such a fighting force. In the eyes of these 2 big guys, the Akatsuki organization is like an unshakable giant mountain. After a long time, Whitebeard said in a low voice, times have really changed. Today's Akatsuki organization is already the top force in the world, and even being ranked as the Emperor of the Sea is not an exaggeration. Marco agreed. Every time the Akatsuki organization is dispatched, its strength is refreshed. I am afraid that this time it will not be the full strength of the Akatsuki organization. It's too powerful. If the Akatsuki organization had just attacked us, I'm afraid we will all be destroyed. Marco paused and did not continue. As a top power, he still has arrogance in his bones. Whitebeard certainly knew what he was talking about. Tu la laughed loudly. I really hope to fight against the Akatsuki organization. After a while, a roar echoed through the sky. The next moment, a huge flame burned in the sky. "Dad, Marco, are you okay?" From behind, there were also deafening footsteps. The Whitebeard Pirates and other divisions came to support. Ace's eyes flashed fiercely. He came to Whitebeard and Marco and shouted, "Where are the Beast's pirates?" Others also rushed over. "What the hell? You dare to touch our Whitebeard Pirates? Are you bullying us? Where are the Beast's pirates and the others? If we cripple them today, we will definitely not let them go." Marco shrugged. "Already escaped." Escaped? Ace was surprised. Then Ace stepped forward and patted Whitebeard and Marco. "Dad, Marco, you can do it. The two of you fought them off." Sure enough, Dad's strength is still the same as before. Whitebeard made a slight noise but did not answer. Marco couldn't laugh or cry and said, "How can Dad do anything with his current injury? It was all done by the Akatsuki organization, and the Akatsuki organization also killed Jack." As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned for a moment. They believed that Marco would not lie to themselves and others, which meant that this was true. Go. The Akatsuki organization actually has the ability to repel the Beast's pirates, and even kill Jack. Marco glanced at everyone and laughed. "Are you surprised by this? There is something even more shocking to you." Marco continued, "Not only that, this time Akatsuki dispatched nearly 1,000 people, and they were all ability users. They directly hit Jack's body and turned it into powder." As soon as these words came out, everyone was silent. This a fact? Is this team not joking anymore? This big news made Morgan so excited that he almost exploded. "Quickly, make an urgent news report. Just write the news that Sayao killed Jack." Soon, seagulls were once again delivering newspapers around the world. On the Ghost Island, boom! A huge explosion sounded and the built wall shattered. Kaido crushed the newspaper in his hand into powder. "Akatsuki organization, how dare you kill my people? Not only did I kill my main force, but I also severely damaged my Zoan army. How brave." Among the ruins of the broken wall, 2 broken wanted posters for Akatsuki members were pressed underneath. Cake Island Dandy was in a hall with her children. Everyone looked solemn. The aunt said in a deep voice, "I didn't expect that the Akatsuki organization is so powerful, and that it even dares to kill people from the 4 emperors." Kaur crossed his hands and said faintly, "This time, Sayao directly dispatched nearly 1,000 powerful ability users. Such strength can already compete with the strength of any of our 4 emperors. If a lone person is targeted, just like Jack, only one of them will die. From today on, in order to prevent accidents, all brothers and sisters will stay on the Cake Island. Daughter Island, a small island nearby." Rayleigh was teaching Luffy Haki when a newspaper fell from the sky. Rayleigh jumped up and grabbed the newspaper. Then he opened it and looked at it. His expression froze. Then he couldn't help but smile. "It's the Akatsuki organization again. It's really strong." He looked at the sky and couldn't help but think of the days of adventure together. If the Akatsuki organization had appeared at that time, would Roger still be successful? He sneered, shook his head, and stopped thinking about it. New World, G5, Marine Headquarters. Sengoku was already covering his face weakly. "Everyone, this meeting is nobody else's business. It's still Akatsuki's business. The Zio organization's strength has reached a new high again, with nearly 1,000 members. This time, and the person killed this time was one of the 3 plagues, Jack. Even Jaehin was seriously injured. Actually, this is a good thing for us Marine. So far, all Akatsuki has killed our pirates," he said. "I think it is necessary to draw them into Shichibukai and unite with us Marine. Otherwise, it will be really difficult for us Marine to suppress us unless we start a top-level battle again. This time, the Zio organization's strength has been refreshed again, making the major powers start to feel a little wary. But for ordinary people, there is a subtle feeling in their hearts." Feilu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 33, The Improvement of Akatsuki Organization's Top Strength. Please vote for Flower Evaluati. Originally, Doflamingo thought that the Akatsuki organization would suffer huge losses this time. But who would have thought that after getting the newspaper, the first thing that caught his eye was the news of Jack's death. Moreover, the strength of the Akatsuki organization has once again refreshed the world's understanding. There are actually 1,000 ability users. Doflamingo was so shocked that his glasses almost fell off. I really didn't expect that the Akatsuki organization would directly kill Jack with a thunderous force. Even the strongest Jaehin was seriously injured. Doflamingo adjusted his glasses and swallowed. He turned to his subordinates and said, "Quick, go get the remaining 500 million. Desilo on the side was so shocked that he couldn't speak, so he stood up and walked away. He didn't want to see the Akatsuki organization again, just like he saw Shinigami. Zio, the organization cannot afford to provoke this time. Tong only spent 1 day before returning to Golden City. This time, Tong only ranked code number 0 out. Upon arrival, Desilo was already waiting. Although he didn't want to see the Akatsuki organization, the ceremony still had to be done. Otherwise, if the Akatsuki organization was dissatisfied, he couldn't afford it. Desilo drove the car himself this time, and everyone was polite and did not dare to make any mistakes. On the road, people also gave way. Dawn, have you heard that this time the Akatsuki organization seems to be called the Five Emperors? 5 Emperors. Don't you know? Yesterday, the Akatsuki organization killed Kaido's 3 Disaster Jack and also severely injured Jaehin, isn't it? I haven't read the newspaper for a day, and such an earth-shattering thing happened. Isn't Kaido going crazy this time? That's for sure, but no action was taken. Why? The strength displayed by the Akatsuki organization now is too powerful. There are nearly 1,000 ability users, and all of them are extremely powerful. Now that the 4 Emperors' forces meet alone, they will all be wiped out. Now everyone is in danger. Akatsuki is now shocking the 4 Emperors. It's amazing. Along the way, everyone was discussing with each other. Soon, Desilo came to the meeting room again with code name 0. But this time I changed rooms. It's not possible without changing rooms. Desilo is afraid that the original room will remind the Akatsuki organization of what they did to them before. If he still holds a grudge, wouldn't he be in trouble? After sending code 0 in, Desilo immediately ran away, not wanting to stay in front of Akatsuki for a moment. In the room, Doflamingo stood up immediately when he saw code number 0 coming in. This time, all family members were brought. Just in case, he was afraid that the Zio organization would suddenly take action against him. Therefore, members of his own family may not be able to stop him, but it can be considered a comfort to himself. But what made Doflamingo happy was that code 0 had to leave immediately before taking the money. Doflamingo hesitated and called code 0 again. Code 0 turned his head and glanced at Doflamingo. Doflamingo felt the pressure was huge, licked his lips and said, "Zio organization is really efficient in doing things. I would like to hire Zio organization again. Do you think it is okay?" Code 0 raised his eyebrows and said softly, "Of course." Doflamingo breathed a sigh of relief and continued, "However, this time the target is no longer New World. He is hiding on a small island in East Blue." "You see," code 0 said directly, "as long as the employment payment is in place and there is a specific target location, there will be no problem." Doflamingo directly took out another 250 million Baileys and then gave it to code 0. This time he is the leader of an underground world, and his strength is not very good. "I will give you 500 million directly. How about it?" This time, it was very interesting to give the target mission location information to code 0. Code 0 looked at the target's location and said, Just give the remaining 250 million. This target is guaranteed to die within half an hour. Doflamingo is sluggish and dies within half an hour. What's the meaning? Now the Akatsuki organization is in New World and it will take several days to rush to East Blue, right? But code number 0 means death within half an hour. Does this mean that the Akatsuki organization also has people in East Blue? At this moment, Doflamingo was shocked again. The pupils under the sunglasses looked at Code 0 as if they were looking at a monster. Zio, how powerful is the organization at this moment? The box Doflamingo held the money in was shaking. Why are you so stunned? Code 0 voice brought Doflamingo back to his senses. He quickly took out another 250 million and handed it to Code 0. Code 0 nodded. You will receive the news later. After that, he strode away. After Code 0 left, Doflamingo sat on the ground blankly. Now he no longer dares to offend the Akatsuki organization. He feels that even if he offends Kaido, he cannot offend Akatsuki. On the submarine side, Tong was excited. Now his wealth value reaches 1.5 billion points. He ran back to the room excitedly. This time he was going to get a good reward. But at this time, the system's voice suddenly echoed in my mind. Detect the wealth value reaches 15 points and activate the upgrade function of the killer's subordinates. Tong was stunned. The killer's subordinates have upgraded functions? Tong looked at the new function and saw a few lines of text simply displayed above. To increase the strength of Vice Admiral to that of Vice Admiral or above, one person spends 20 million points. The strength of Vice Admiral and above is increased to the level of Admiral. One person spends 5,000 W points. Quasi-Admiral Strength Improvement Admiral Strength. One person spends 100 million points. Admiral Strength Level Up Admiral Strength. One person spends 500 million points. After Tong read it, his eyes immediately lit up. It can improve the strength of subordinates. Wouldn't the Akatsuki organization become stronger in this way? As long as the Akatsuki organization is strong, the mission will be easier to complete. Moreover, the most important thing is that as long as the subordinates are powerful enough to be heaven-defying, the mission only needs one person, and one person is a pirate group. Tong licked his lips and decided to improve the strength of his subordinates first this time. Anyway, since his subordinates are strong, he doesn't need to take action. He can take it easy because of his own strength. Wouldn't it be nice to be a hands-off shopkeeper? Tong sneered. Start upgrading now. First, upgrade the 9 quasi-admirals to admiral strength. In this way, the Akatsuki organization will have 10 top-notch combatants. Tong didn't hesitate at all and spent 900 million wealth points directly. Wealth value, 600 million points. There are still 600 million worth of wealth left. Tong murmured. After thinking about it, I decided to upgrade the codename 0 to the 2nd level Admiral Strength. In this way, when encountering the 4 Emperors or Admiral, I can also suppress them. Tong clicked to upgrade again, and Code 0 strength skyrocketed. For a moment, Code 0 was unable to control himself, and his strength was revealed. Perona, who was eating outside, was shocked. Should I go? Code 0, have you become stronger again? Felu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 34. The first of the 6 Emperors of Great Change in the World. Please vote for Flower Eval. Not only code number 0, but also code numbers 8 and 9 on the submarine. The sudden increase in strength made them unable to control it for a while, and they leaked their breath one after another. When he reacted, he restrained himself. The fruit in Perona's hand has fallen to the ground. What's happening here? She has stayed in the Zio organization for a few days, and naturally she is very aware of the strength of these 3 people. This sudden growth really surprised her, and 3 people grew at the same time. Zio, the strength of these 3 people in the organization is probably already at the top of the world as 4 emperors enough to watch now. In the room, Tong also noticed that the auras of the 3 people increased greatly. I'm quite satisfied, and I will be able to truly become the shopkeeper in the future. With 100 million points of wealth left, Tong directly upgraded armament Haki to a high level. Not only the strength of his men, but with Tong's current strength, he will not be at a disadvantage in a battle with a veteran like Sengoku. There was nothing to say all night. The next day, Tong got up early in the morning. Today is the day of recruitment in the marine world. Tong wants to see if his members can sneak into marine. Arthur Kyo is in charge of this matter. He doesn't dare to neglect at all, and he works very efficiently. The 100 subordinates Tong sent out all received quotas for marine recruitment. Thinking of this, Tong contacted Arthur Kyo through skills again. As soon as Arthur Kyo heard the sound of none, he quickly greeted him respectfully. "Hello, Mr. Wu, do you have anything to do with me?" Tong did not have too many polite words and said calmly, "You did a good job this time. I am very satisfied. I will send someone to give you 500 million billy as a reward later." When Arthur Kyo heard this, he looked flattered and quickly refused. "Master Wu, you are too polite. Now that the country has your Akatsuki organization secretly protecting you, those pirates don't dare to come. The people can live and work in peace and contentment. This is the greatest reward you can give me. There is no need to give me anything else. No. Since you have merit, you will naturally be rewarded. On the contrary, if you dare to betray, you will be killed without mercy." Tong said calmly. How could Arthur Kyo dare? The first-generation king nodded and bowed. "Master Wu is joking. The reason Arthur's kingdom is stable now is because of Akatsuki. How could I betray the Akatsuki organization? As the leader, Tong naturally has to do this well, although now Arthur Kyo is loyal to himself and will not betray. However, it is not good to have no rewards. With rewards, Arthur Kyo will be more loyal to the Dawn organization. At the same time, the Zio organization currently has a lot of money, and it has no value just lying in the storage room. Might as well let it circulate. Arthur Kyo also has the capital to develop the country. The country is stronger, which also means that the Zio organization has more wings. Tong didn't say much and said directly, "I will send someone there by then, and you can just develop the country with peace of mind, so that the country can become stronger." Arthur Kyo no longer shirks and bends down to thank him again and again. "I will make the kingdom of Arthur strong and powerful and become your right-hand man." Tong nodded, and after arranging this matter, he stopped paying attention. By noon, news came that members of the Akatsuki organization had successfully infiltrated Marine's intelligence network. In the submarine, Tong saw this scene and stood up with a smile. He stretched and said, "It's just as I expected. Codename 1 strength is the best among the admirals, the best in all aspects, whether it is physical skills or abilities. In other words, physical skills are already close to Garp's level. Therefore, it is naturally extremely powerful and will definitely be reused." No longer thinking, Tong left the hall directly. Time flies and more than 10 days have passed. There are some big things happening in the world these days. Marshal Sengoku announced his resignation and joined Garp as an instructor responsible for training recruits. The new marshal was originally selected from 3 established admirals. For this reason, just like the original work, Akainu and Aokiji fought for 10 days. In the end, Akainu became the new marshal. Later, Aokiji also resigned and left Marine. Aokiji's departure happened suddenly, and Marine had to make an exception to promote an admiral again. Tyrant, Fujitora and Green Bull have become the new generation of admiral. The new generation of admiral is headed by Batian and is extremely powerful. In the second half of New World, big changes also occurred. Captain of the Whitebeard Pirates, Whitebeard abdicated and gave up the position of captain to Ace, while he stayed in the place of his birth and began to live in retirement. Immediately, as soon as the news came out, the Blackbeard Pirates immediately appeared. It directly started to snatch the territory of the Whitebeard Pirates. Several battles took place for this purpose, and they all ended in Blackbeard's victory. Whitebeard retreated, and the Blackbeard Pirates completely crushed the Whitebeard Pirates. Newspaper publisher Morgans will not miss this opportunity and will immediately start writing a big article, bringing the Blackbeard Pirates and the Akatsuki organization to the forefront. It is widely publicized that New World is no longer dominated by the old strong players. Count Akatsuki and the Blackbeard Pirates together as the Emperor of the Sea. Today, New World is no longer 4 emperors, but 6 emperors. Moreover, among the 6 emperors, the Akatsuki organization is the most powerful. He was hyped to become the first of the 6 emperors. Inside the submarine, Tong read the newspaper. He doesn't care about the title of the head of the 6 emperors either. After all, the Akatsuki organization does have such strength now. After a while, put the newspaper aside. Looking at the system attentively, the wealth value, 470 million points. Recently, there have been a lot of employment tasks, but they are all small, and the employment fees are not high, so they are all completed by other branches. But Tong was free here. Just when he was bored and wanted to bully Perona, Code number 0 walked in. "Master, here comes a big offer." Tong raised his eyebrows with interest. "Oh? Tell me." Codename 0 said calmly. This time the character's target is celestial dragons. After a pause, Code 0 said, "The employer is Desalo. Felu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 35, More Money. Please vote for Flower Evaluation. Oh, Celestial Dragons. Tong also became interested. There are not many surprises that Desalo would hire Akatsuki to organize and kill the Celestial Dragons. Anyone who has watched the movie knows that Desalo is actually a poor man. His lover died at the hands of the Celestial Dragons, and he was enslaved by the Celestial Dragons. In the end, he escaped because Tiger made a big fuss about Mariewa. Finally, he got the golden fruit, and then he turned around, built the golden city, and became the richest man in the world. However, for Tong, these are not the main points. The point is that Desalo hates celestial dragons extremely much, and the other is that he is rich and now owns 20% of the world's wealth. The combination of these 2 points means that Tong can make a lot of money. Tong couldn't help but feel happy. Tong said to Code 0, "Tell Desalo that we will talk face to face." Code 0 responded directly and left. After hearing this, Desalo immediately agreed. What if he disagreed and offended the Akatsuki organization? One day later, Tong came to Golden City again. For the interview, only Code number 0 was sent. There is no need to send people to hide in secret. With the strength of Code name 0, one person can destroy the city. But this time, at Desalo's request, he didn't go in directly with any fanfare, but Desalo himself came to greet him secretly. Tong has no objection to this. Soon, Code 0 came to the conference room of the building again. This time, Desalo and Code 0 were the only 2 people in the room. With a smile on his face, Desalo said very politely, "Can I pour you a cup of tea?" When he saw Code 0, his heart started beating. Because Codename 0 made him feel more powerful, he felt it was not surprising that Codename 0 could kill him with just one move now. Zio, this organization is really mysterious. Its strength has improved too quickly. He was a little lucky. Last time, he was a skilled person and had the courage to take action against the Zio organization. Afterwards, he helped the Zio organization. 1 billion. Otherwise, if the Zio organization troubles me because of this matter, I will be doomed. Opposite me, Code Zero waved his hand. No, let's get down to business. Desolo nodded quickly. Okay. Then, with a flattering look on his face, he said, I have already prepared comprehensive information about the target person as well as the deposit for this time. Code Zero glanced at the deposit and used observation Haki to feel it. There were 600 million Baileys in it. In other words, this time Desolo plans to use 1.2 billion Bailey to hire the Akatsuki organization. This is quite a lot. Celestial Dragons itself has no strength, and the difficulty of killing it is not high, but it will provoke Marine and CP0 to fight to death afterwards. But Tong is not afraid of these at all. The 4 emperors are already offended. Why do you still care about having one more Marine and CP0? But the employer is Desolo, the richest man in the world. 1.2 billion Baileys. Too little. After seeing the code number 0 and looking at the deposit, he said nothing. Desolo immediately understood that Akatsuki had too few organizations. So, he hurriedly said, how about I add another 100 million Billy to the Zio organization? It must be said that Desolo is a smart man, but Tong is smarter and more powerful. Codename Zero said quietly, 1.3 billion Baileys, Desolo, this does not suit your status. Desolo looked a little embarrassed and said, the target of this mission is not on Mariewa, so it is not difficult to kill 1.3 billion. That's a lot. Code Zero glanced at Desolo and released Conqueror's Haki calmly. As soon as Conqueror's Haki came out, Desolo, the opponent, felt a little difficult to breathe, and the pressure increased inexplicably. After a while, his whole body was dripping wet, his face turned a little pale, and he said, let's do this. I will give you 2 billion Billy this time, and I will deliver it directly now. This time, Code Zero took Haki back. 2 billion. Killing a celestial dragons in the outside world can only be said to be a great value. You know, in the outside world, to the Boulder Pirates, celestial dragons are nothing. Previously on Sabaody Island, Luffy just beat up celestial dragons. He just has to withstand the pursuit of Marine and CP0, and he is not afraid of this Akatsuki organization at all. Soon, Desolo signed the employment agreement immediately, and then immediately handed it over to Code Zero, along with 2 billion Baileys. Code Zero nodded and stood up to leave. Desolo on the opposite side breathed a sigh of relief, then stood up politely and prepared to send Code Zero off. Just as the two were about to leave the room, Brother Ming's figure appeared at the door. Desolo was stunned for a moment, wondering why this guy would appear here. Code Zero is also a little curious. What is Doflamingo doing here? Doflamingo is naturally afraid of the Akatsuki organization. Like Desolo, he was very polite and said, I heard that Desolo hired you Akatsuki to organize the killing of celestial dragons this time. As soon as these words came out, Desolo frowned slightly. You know, celestial dragons is a noble. If this news gets out, he will definitely be chased by Marine and CP0. Code Zero looked at Doflamingo, wanting to see what he was going to do. Doflamingo saw Codename Zero gaze and quickly explained, Don't get me wrong, I am here to be hired by the Akatsuki organization this time. I am also very interested in killing the celestial dragons. With that said, he quickly took out the target person's information and employment payment. Oh, Code Zero was very interested. Doflamingo handed the deposit and the target person's information to Code Zero, and then with a ferocious expression under his sunglasses, he said in a cold tone, I wanted to kill the person who refused my father to return to Mariewa back then. It is precisely because of this that my mother died. After Codename Zero took it, he took a look at the target person's information. The mission target is in Mariewa, Codename Zero murmured. Doflamingo was stunned when he heard this and asked, Does it mean that the Akatsuki organization does not dare to sneak into Mariewa to kill the celestial dragons? Code Zero said calmly, No, you have to pay more. Felu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 36, A Nobleman Full of Evil Deeds. Please vote for Flower Evaluation. When Code Zero returned to the submarine, he already had a full box in his hand. It's all money, a total of 4.2 billion Baileys. Perona's eyes flashed when she saw this. This must be too much money. Tong was also very happy, but he was different. What makes him happy is not the money, but that this time he will gain 42 points of wealth. This is enough to increase his strength by a large margin, or to increase the strength of all members of the Akatsuki organization to a terrifying level. Of course, after this incident, the Akatsuki organization will completely encounter Marine and CP0 who will fight to the death. Tong doesn't care about this at all. Nowadays, there are undercover agents of the Akatsuki organization within the Marine Intelligence Organization. What are you afraid of? Even if there is no undercover, can Marine and CP0 find him? Even if you find it, will Xiao be afraid of facing him head-on? Tong plans to hand over the Celestial Dragons who is no longer in Mariewa to the branch for processing, and on his side, directly kill the Celestial Dragons in Mariewa. Sabayati Island. Because of the attack on Celestial Dragons a few months ago, Kizaru directly dispatched to clear out the place. This makes the pirates on the island now afraid to be exposed. In a tavern, several big men were drinking. Under the influence of alcohol, one of them cursed. It's all that Straw Hat's fault. This used to be a holy land for pirates, but now it's become a graveyard for pirates. That's right. There are many Marines stationed on the island now, so we people must be careful. What's even more annoying is that there are several Celestial Dragons who said they wanted to come here to play, which made Marine patrol the island every day. Celestial Dragons ahem. These people have human faces and animal hearts. I really want to peel off their skins. Hey, keep your voice down. If someone hears it and reaches the ears of Celestial Dragons, you will die without knowing how. That's right. The Celestial Dragons are the top nobles in the world. Who dares to provoke them? Provoking them means there is no future. Hey, last time the Akatsuki organization showed up in the Summit War, didn't they dare to kill even the Celestial Dragons? Why didn't you see them attack the Celestial Dragons? That's right. Those who were killed were all pirates. From what I saw, that time before was probably just bragging and just for publicity. It makes sense. Find a hot spot and let people all over the world know about the Akatsuki organization. In fact, it is just a matter of words. Who dares to take action against the Celestial Dragons? This time Marine has strengthened a lot through the world conscription. If Akatsuki dares to mess with Marine, isn't he looking for death in the tavern? Everyone was talking quietly. At this moment, a man pushed open the door and said angrily, "The Celestial Dragons are causing trouble again." Everyone became quiet after hearing this, and then went out to take a look. Outside the street, 3 Celestial Dragons rode slowly, followed by 3 guards in black. Riding below the 3 Celestial Dragons, and below he ran were 3 humans. These people were covered in injuries and had chains tied around their necks. The 3 of them had a look of superiority on their faces. "Get out of the way, get out of the way." The Celestial Dragons in the middle shouted. The Celestial Dragons on the left turned around and looked around, snorting coldly. A bunch of garbage. They don't even have eyes. They will get angry when they see it. On the street, there were ordinary people coming and going. After hearing these words, they were angry and dared not speak out. They swallowed their anger and hid on the street corner. Some even ran home immediately for fear of offending them. Celestial Dragons, these are the top nobles in the world. No one dares to offend them. Offending them means death. Behind the 3 of them are the world government, CP0 organization, and the powerful Marine. At this time, one of the Celestial Dragons glanced coldly at the people around him. His eyes lit up and a look of greed appeared on his face. Brother, this is on point. In the middle, the celestial dragons cast a glance after hearing this, then moved his eyes and licked his lips. Oh, that's really good. The two looked at each other with an evil expression. Then, he pulled his mount and forcibly turned the man in another direction. The hard iron ring touched the man's neck and blood dripped on the ground. It's so cruel that it hurts. These celestial dragons are so cruel. Hurry up, this way. The celestial dragons in the middle felt that this was not enough, and kicked his mount in the abdomen. The human screamed in pain, but it was a pity that the mouth was blocked and he couldn't make any sound. He had no choice but to follow Celestial Dragon's insistence and slowly walk towards a woman on the side of the road. On the side, people watched the Celestial Dragons approaching and dispersed one after another. The woman was a little helpless and wanted to leave. But the two Celestial Dragons said in a bad tone, "Stop." The girl looked at the Celestial Dragons in the middle in horror. Celestial Dragons laughed and said, "Now it is officially announced that you have been spotted by us, and you will be ours from now on." When the woman heard this, her heart fell into an ice cave. She backed away repeatedly, tears began to well up in her eyes, and her voice was pleading, "No, no." The Celestial Dragons on the left, who was the first to take a fancy to him, sneered, "We can't bear to say you don't want to. You're lucky to be chosen by us." As he said this, he got off the mount, but when he stepped on the pedal, he accidentally stepped on the pedal and fell down. Ouch! Celestial Dragons cried out in pain. The other two Celestial Dragons saw this and immediately laughed. The fallen Celestial Dragons stood up with a gloomy expression. Seeing the merciless ridicule of his two companions, he felt extremely angry. It was so embarrassing. He glanced at his mountain and suddenly felt uncontrollable anger. He raised his foot with all his strength and kicked the human directly in the stomach, cursing, "Damn it, you dared to shake Laozi when he came down." Although the big man was burly, he was already weak and covered in wounds. Being kicked was the last straw. He was overwhelmed and fell to the ground with a muffled groan. Blood was flowing from the corner of his mouth. The people around were extremely angry and wanted to eat these Celestial Dragons alive. But they didn't dare. The forces behind Celestial Dragons are too powerful and no one dares to do anything. Feeling sad and angry, when will the cruel behavior of Celestial Dragons end? How long will the people continue to be oppressed like this? Noble. Can such a person full of evil deeds be worthy of being a noble? Felu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 37. Take action against the Celestial Dragons. Please vote for Flower Evaluation. The burly and strong man was kicked so hard that he lay motionless on the ground. Then Celestial Dragons just gave him a cold look and said, "Trash." The boss took one look at it and said, "Wouldn't it mean that you don't have a mount?" The kicking Celestial Dragons said nonchalantly, "I'll change it later, there are plenty of mounts." These words made the people around me feel chilled in their hearts. Celestial Dragons don't dare to think what others think. The kicking Celestial Dragons laughed and immediately walked over to the woman. The woman was frightened when she saw this scene. If you were caught by such a person, wouldn't it make no difference if you followed him to hell? After the kicking Celestial Dragons approached, his face was full of evil smiles. "Come on, you will be mine from now on." As he spoke, he reached out to grab the woman. Because the woman was afraid, she subconsciously walked away and blurted out, "No." After the kicking Celestial Dragons was thrown away, he couldn't help but be stunned. Then his face was full of anger. "Who dared to do this to me since I was a child?" Damn Celestial Dragons looked ferocious and raised his hand to slap him. He directly beat the woman to the ground and blood spilled from her mouth. There were tears on the woman's face. She covered her face in pain and shed tears. "You dare to cry?" The Celestial Dragons was furious, raised his hand again, and suddenly a voice said, "My lords, spare your life. Spare my life." I saw a man rushing in front of the girl to protect the woman. "Sir, please spare her. I am willing to take her place." When the celestial dragons saw this scene, their faces became even more angry. Then, he sneered, "Okay, then you can die for her." After saying that, without any hesitation, he took out a gun from his waist. "No." The woman was frightened and wanted to push the man away. "I am willing to go with the adults. I am willing to follow the adults." Boom. A loud gunshot interrupted the woman's cry. The woman opened her eyes wide, and it seemed like the world had lost all color at this moment. In this gray world, the celestial dragons in front of him looked ferocious, with a playful smile on his face. The muzzle of the gun in his hand was still smoking, but the man protecting her fell silently. "No, wake up, wake up." The woman kept crying and shaking the man. But the man was dead and his blood was all over the floor. HMPH. Celestial Dragon snorted, and then he pointed the gun at the woman. "Laozi is very unhappy now. You should die too." With that said, he pulled the trigger without any hesitation. At this moment, a laser shot out, knocking the bullet away. "Huh?" The celestial dragons frowned. "What's going on? Who is doing this?" The people around also looked around. Who took action? Who is so bold? How dare you block the celestial dragons? The next moment, someone exclaimed, "Zio! Members of the Akatsuki organization appear here." "Where is it? Where is it?" Coming from a distance. "Did the Akatsuki organization just do it?" "I think so." "You dare to take action against the celestial dragons. Isn't this too bold?" Nowadays, the Akatsuki organization is a household name. Who doesn't know about it? The current leader of the 6 emperors. I saw it at the end of the street. A man wearing a black robe and a black smiling face mask was walking slowly on the street. This man is the leader of the second part of Akatsuki, codename 4, and he is also an admiral now. This time he was responsible for killing the celestial dragons on Sabayati Island. Codename 4 came slowly from a distance. The pirates stood at the door of the tavern, watching quietly, not daring to breathe loudly. It was as if they could only talk in a low voice for fear of alarming a wild beast. "Hey, do you think this is someone from the Akatsuki organization? Looking at what he's wearing, there should be nothing wrong with it. Why does the Akatsuki organization appear here?" Who knows? Everyone held their breath and watched Codename 4 coming step by step. The celestial dragons glanced at it and said angrily, "Did you do it just now? How dare a mere Zio organization dare to be so presumptuous in front of me?" With that said, he raised the gun again, intending to continue killing the woman. But the next moment, the laser shot again. Behind them, the expressions of the 3 bodyguards changed slightly and they moved to stop them. But the speed of the laser was extremely fast, and it penetrated directly through the forearm of the celestial dragons. Blood spurted out from the celestial dragon's arm, and he screamed. At the same time, the gun in his hand fell to the ground. Trench. People around were shocked. This time they saw clearly that it was Zio's hand, and this time he directly injured the opponent. Those were the celestial dragons, the top nobles in the world, and Zio actually injured them. Isn't the Zio organization too brave? Aren't you afraid of celestial dragons called Marine? Do you think the Akatsuki organization will appear here this time to kill the celestial dragons? Hiss. One person gasped, "It shouldn't be possible. If we kill him, the world government will not stop fighting against the Akatsuki organization, but even if they didn't come to kill the celestial dragons and injured someone, I think the Akatsuki organization will be in trouble this time. The CP guards behind them are all very powerful. Besides, Admiral will appear later. Zio has only one person in the organization. Can he withstand it?" The celestial dragons who was shot through the arm screamed in pain. He gritted his teeth, and the annoyance in his heart reached the extreme. "Zio, what about the organization? I am a world noble, and I am a celestial dragons. How dare these rubbish take action against me?" With a ferocious face, he turned to the 3 bodyguards and said, "What are you waiting for? Go kill him quickly, kill this bastard. Damn it! That bastard dared to hurt Leazi. After hearing this, the CP guards set off one after another. The Dawn organization had just injured celestial dragons, so he must die. The three of them stepped on the moonwalk and quickly headed towards Code 4. The CP guards have taken action. 3 people are fighting against 1 person. I'm afraid the Akatsuki organization is a bit in doubt. Why hasn't that person from the Zio organization taken action? Is this giving up resistance? Codename 4 was still walking slowly after the 3 CP guards set off, with no intention of making any move. Zio, no matter who you kill, if you dare to hurt the celestial dragons, you must die today, the CP guard shouted. The 3 of them have already arrived in front of code number 4. Tempest kick. One of them yelled, accumulating strength in his feet, attached to Haki, and kicked code 4 in the head. Finger pistol. 1 person used the finger pistol among the 6 moves to go directly to the heart of code number 4. The last person used shaving among the 6 postures. The 3 of them used all their strength to attack the key point code named 4. Feilu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 38. Stomp on the heads of celestial dragons. Please vote for flower evaluation. The 3 of them are responsible for protecting the celestial dragons, so they are naturally quite powerful. All using armament Haki. Everyone around them held their breath. Even if Akatsuki, this guy's Logia, can't escape death. That's right. Even if he doesn't die, he will probably be seriously injured. These are the elites in CP. But Code 4 is still slowly walking towards celestial dragons. Who is holding a gun like that? The fierce offensive of the 3 CP guards shot down Code 4 directly. However, the 3 of them were shocked as they actually penetrated the body of Codename 4. How can this be? Did we all use Hakis? Even if the opponent is Logia, it's impossible that he can't hit him, right? The 3 of them were horrified because this could only mean one thing. The development of the opposite fruit's ability was extremely terrifying. This is too scary. Because the 3 of them attacked Code 4 from 3 directions, they had no time to retract the attack, and the attack hit their own people directly. In an instant, the 3 people vomited blood and flew out upside down. On the Code 4 side, they were still moving forward slowly. What happened just now? Some weak ones have no idea what is going on. That's the Logia Devil Fruit ability Zio. This person is more powerful than the CP guard ahead. 3 celestial dragons were stunned. What's going on with these 3 bodyguards? How about one of your own people beating your own people? Is he a fool? The injured celestial dragons gritted his teeth. He turned to the 2 celestial dragons behind him and said, "Call Marine, call Marine." Damn it, you dare to hit Leazi. Leazi will make him pay the price. Well, the next 2 celestial dragons immediately contacted Marine. Codename 4 didn't care what they were doing and slowly walked up to the 3 of them. The 3 bodyguards stood up again with lingering fears. But they must protect the celestial dragons and must kill Codename 4. They shouted loudly, regardless of their injuries, and killed Code 4 again. Codename 4 is the top admiral, and for him, there is no need to take action against these people. The 3 of them punched and kicked, but they couldn't hit Code 4 at all. This scene made everyone around look like they were in a dream. Am I dreaming? Why do I feel like that guy from the Akatsuki organization is teasing monkeys? Take away the feeling, and the other person is playing tricks on the monkey. While people were talking, Codename 4 came to celestial dragons. The 3 bodyguards were already panting. The injured celestial dragons was already terrified, but the celestial dragon's arrogance still made him hold on and shouted, "You are dead," and so is the Akatsuki organization snapped. Plop. Ah. Before the celestial dragons could finish speaking, he was directly stepped on by Codename 4. The glass cover on his head shattered directly, and the glass fragments directly hit Celestial Dragon's face, but it was too late to cry out in pain. Codename 4 stepped on him directly. I go. This Akatsuki organization is playing with fire. How dare you do this to the Celestial Dragons? Aren't the Akatsuki organizations afraid of the world government chasing down the Celestial Dragons like this? So domineering, but I like it. I have to say, it's really great. You run away, Marine Admiral is definitely here this time. The world recruitment has just ended. Marine is now too powerful. The Akatsuki organization is looking for death. Next to Codename 4, the two Celestial Dragons were also shocked and terrified. The boss just gritted his teeth, suppressed the fear in his heart, and cursed. Xiao, do you know what you are doing? Let him go quickly, otherwise you will die without knowing how. Codename 4 just turned his head and glanced coldly, then lowered his head again to look at the Celestial Dragons at his feet. The next moment, he used the soles of his feet to crush it. Blood-red flowers bloomed directly, splashing into the faces of the two Celestial Dragons. The two Celestial Dragons felt their heads go blank. Are you really being a devil? It wasn't until he smelled the bloody smell that he came back to his senses. Instantly, his pupils trembled and he made a sound of extreme fear. Then, regardless of his mount, he rolled and crawled to escape. Master, Code 4 said in a deep voice. Tong said coldly, originally, I wouldn't have killed someone without a salary, but this time the scene just now passed through observation Haki, codenamed 4, but he could see clearly that these Celestial Dragons made Tong feel sick. All dead. Tong sentenced the two Celestial Dragons to death. Yes, Code 4 voice sounded leisurely. Just as he was about to take action, a group of Marines rushed over. Then Codename 4 was surrounded. When the two Celestial Dragons saw this, they couldn't help but be overjoyed. The reinforcements had arrived and they didn't have to die. Without saying anything, he quickly hid behind Marine. When the people around saw Marine coming, they couldn't help but take a few steps back. Oh my, there are so many Marines. It seems that this Akatsuki member is going to be finished this time. Kill the Celestial Dragons and it's really over. Otherwise, why do you think the Celestial Dragons dare to be so unscrupulous? Isn't it just taking official protection? Too. Alas. What a pity, now we are doomed. Soon, two Vice Admirals walked out of the Marine team. He glanced at code number 4, and then glanced at the Celestial Dragon's corpse on the ground with his head crushed, his expression gloomy. Xiao, you are so brave, you dare to kill the noble. Codename 4 lifted his body and said nothing. At this time, two Celestial Dragons also squeezed out of the Marine team and stood behind the two Marine Vice Admirals. The two Vice Admirals frowned, trying to get the two Celestial Dragons to hide behind them for safety. But the two Celestial Dragons refused. There are a large number of Marine soldiers here. What are you afraid of? This guy dares to kill a noble. We want to see him die with our own eyes. One of them had a smile on his face and said, So what if it's just an Akatsuki organization? Are we Celestial Dragons still afraid? There was just no Marine around, so he was arrogant. That's right. Don't say there's only one person in front of you, even if the entire Akatsuki organization comes, so what? There are so many Marines now that they don't even dare to fart. The two Vice Admirals were helpless. These Celestial Dragons refused to listen, and they had no choice but to let them go. Moreover, these Celestial Dragons are right. Now that I am waiting for the soldiers here, no matter how crazy this person is, he will not dare to take action easily. Then a Vice Admiral said coldly, Just accept the arrest obediently, otherwise you won't be able to blame us if you are beaten into a hornet's nest later. The Vice Admiral who spoke did not say anything when he saw the code number 4 and stood motionless. Thinking that he was too frightened to move, he sneered in his heart. But in the blink of an eye, his expression changed and he was extremely horrified. Because Codename 4 had already sided with himself and others at some point. Feu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 39. Kizaru was killed instantly. Please vote for flower evaluation. All Marine was shocked and shouted, "How reckless. The weapon in his hand has not been drawn yet." I saw Codename 4 taking action directly against the people on his side with thunderous momentum. The two celestial dragons had not yet reacted. Blood spurted out from their throats, with disbelief in their eyes. Then his vision gradually turned black and he fell down. Everyone present, whether it was Marine or the people around him, were stunned. I go. How dare you kill celestial dragons in front of Marine? And kill two at once? The two vice admirals haven't reacted yet. Nice, Sayao organization, that's the top noble in the world. The world government is behind it. Even Marine has to be demolished by them. The Akatsuki organization deserves to be the leader of the 6 emperors. This is so brave. I'll go. The revolutionary army is not as courageous as him, right? Aren't you afraid that the world government will take notice of you? Who just said that the Akatsuki organization did not dare to attack the celestial dragons? Haha, I remember, it was that guy. Now he's slapped in the face. Not only did he dare to do it, but he did it in front of Marine. The next moment, the expressions of the two vice admirals were extremely gloomy. The person who was least likely to be killed was actually killed. Quickly catch him and kill 3 nobles at once. We must not let him escape, Vice Admiral shouted. Upon hearing this, all the soldiers immediately took out their weapons and prepared to take down Code 4. But Code 4 floated directly into the air, then turned into a laser and went away into the distance. Even though Marine fired countless bullets at him, he didn't get hurt at all. At this time, a vice admiral gritted his teeth and then took a lunge at a very fast speed. He turned out to be a user with the Paramecia fruit ability, which increases his speed. Another leap forward, catching up with Codename 4. His face was ferocious and his eyes were red. Codename 4 actually killed the celestial dragons in front of him. This mistake was known to the higher-ups and his position would definitely be in jeopardy. If you want to keep your position, you must make up for your mistakes, and that is to win the code number 4. The Vice Admiral immediately pulled out the saber from his waist and was about to slash Code 4. Codename 4 just glanced at him. At this glance, the laser was shot directly. Code number 4 is Admiral Strength. This Vice Admiral is just an inconspicuous figure in Marine, so the disparity in strength should not be too great. Without any precautions, he was hit directly through the shoulder by this blow and fell to the ground. Codename 4 left in style. Marine's face was completely pale. Code 4 was so powerful that he couldn't stop it. Suddenly, a yellow flash of light struck directly from the sky. The next moment, it hit the white laser directly. Boom! A huge explosion resounded across the sky, and a dazzling light also illuminated the surrounding area, so that people can't see what's going on. But everyone knows who this ability is. Big Admiral is here. I'll go. Kizaru takes action. With Admiral here, can the Akatsuki organization escape easily? It's hard to say. It's probably a bit difficult. Although the Akatsuki members are powerful, the opponent is also a veteran admiral, and their strength should not be underestimated. The two vice admirals were overjoyed when they saw Kizaru Admiral daring to come over. Haha, I just made you arrogant, now let's see where you run. Kill 3 nobles, Admiral takes action, you will not die. You were so arrogant just now, but the next moment, in the center of the light, a figure flew out and hit the ground hard. I saw that Kizaru's body was broken into 2 halves, and there was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. The next moment, the flash of light restored the body to a whole body. As for Skyrim, Codename 4 has long since disappeared. There was silence. Admiral was beaten down. Kizaru stood up after falling to the ground. Yo, it's really scary. Kizaru looked into the distance without seeing any waves, and then wiped the blood from his mouth. At this moment, everyone came back to their senses. Trenching. Kizaru was defeated. The strength of the members of the Akatsuki organization just now was too terrifying, wasn't it? I'll go and kill the celestial dragons in front of Marine and beat down an admiral. The Akatsuki organization is worthy of being the leader of the 6 emperors. Zio organization is my idol. So handsome. Too Haki. No matter what, from now on I will be the little fanboy of the Akatsuki organization, kicking celestial dragons and kicking admiral. Marine headquarters, conference room in the lobby. This time, it was no longer Sengoku who was rubbing the center of his eyebrows, but Akainu. The next moment he slapped his big hand hard on the 2 newspapers on the table, and the newspapers burned instantly. He shouted, "The Akatsuki organization doesn't take us Marine seriously, and actually kills people directly in front of Marine outside. Not only that, but also injured Kizaru. The world government has sent the CP0 organization to assist us Marine. This time, the Akatsuki organization must be completely wiped out." The proposal to recruit the Akatsuki organization into Shichibukai was directly rejected. The Akatsuki organization is fighting to the death with us, Marine. Everyone had gloomy expressions and said nothing. Akainu continued, "This time Akatsuki killed 3 celestial dragons. The world government said it would suppress it. Everyone in the Sabayati Island area who knew about this incident has been arrested. Everyone knows what to do. Bar. Also, this time Mariewa asked our Marines to send troops to station. Everyone nodded to show their understanding. This incident must be suppressed, otherwise if word spreads, the prestige of the world government will be reduced, and the impact will be extremely bad. Although the world government has blocked the news very well and the people do not know about it, for the strong, such a big event will naturally be known. Feu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Alright legends, that's it for today. If you're ready for the next chapter, smash that like button and flood the comments right now. Remember, we've got 3 days to prove this story needs to continue. Subscribe so you don't miss the drop, and I'll meet you in the next audiobook.